Dan's definitely going to cry, right?
That's a guarantee.
Has to be like
Obviously.
minus 750 probably.
Has it even started yet? He's got his head down right now. I can't even tell. He might be crying right now.
I've got to finish this real quick. Like, Cody betrayed us again, and I'm not ready to do this right now.
Scooping it.
I need to concentrate on what I'm doing right now. Can you guys just handle this for a second?
Definitely going to cry.
I think minus 750's being generous. Like,
I'm not going to cry. I don't cry.
Oh, the cry price is you can't even take that
off the board.
It's about how early he cries. It's like crying in the first 30
What's Why are we so late?
Refresh Greg Cody's feed.
Hold on.
You tell us what. Read Greg Cody's feed and let me get back to work here, please. I haven't finished this yet.
It says
What?
Yeah. Well, I got to open the.
What's happening now?
Here's a tweet. It's official. Beloved member of @LeBatardShow is leaving.
Who?
I assume it's Stugotz.
I'm very often surprised by the sheer depth of feeling that I feel here in this bakery where we've made things for the last 21 years. I'm grateful for that. I'll always be grateful for that. But rarely as much as I am today, when I somehow have at once both a sickness in my stomach and a warmth in my heart. I'm going to try to get through this without getting emotional, and I ask your forgiveness in advance for when I surely fail. But I need to provide some context on the news I'm about to share before we get started today, because I think many of you who care too deeply about this show and us are going to absorb it the same disorienting way I did. And it's all going to take a little time to process for all of us to get on with the show, a show that isn't ever going to be quite the same after today. So, after a decade and a half of glorious anarchy, Billy Gill's final day with us is tomorrow. Yeah, I know. It shocked me too. He's leaving us for a bigger job at Spotify, and I'm both sad and happy to announce that. Sad because someone I care about deeply is going. Happy because someone I care about deeply is also growing. You have two choices when a surprise like this lands on you. You can be selfish and feel left behind, or you can open your heart and rejoice in getting to see all that is up ahead. Billy both grew up with us and never grew up with us, but he has children of his own now, and he's career-driven, so he seeks more adult creative challenges than just babysitting Stugotz and me all the way to the end. It turns out we all got to watch him outgrow his childhood bedroom. Grew so much that he hit his head on Metal Arc's ceiling on the way out the door. We've worked together for a long time here. Too long, some might say. And no matter how fun it looks to the outside, we work in a cauldron. Sometimes it cooks, sometimes it burns, but after many, many years, too many, some might say, we all know that this cauldron is where everyone eats every work day. And so some of us have been doing that eating together for decades now, plural, and there are parts of this that will always feel like home to people who care as deeply as Billy does. He knows he will always be welcome here. We don't even have to do that thing about the key under the mat. He knows where all the hiding places are. He knows where all the keys are. No one really knows how much Billy does around here, not even me, especially not me. This thing is an unholy beast to produce every day. The sloppiness a feature, not a bug. The hosts more bulls than butterflies. Billy's gentle grace behind the scenes and creative coloring in the scenes are not things that can be replicated ever, never mind replaced. All of this will be harder without him, obviously. Our soul won't be the same. I'm not even going to try to pretend it will be. He might be the most popular character we've ever had, but on his way out, I would like you to know just some of the things that he was, things beyond how much better he made Stugotz and me and the show every day. I once was celebrating some big success our show had that he obviously and always had a part in, and I told Billy to just rent a limo, have an all-expenses-paid party night out, and just send me the bill. This was for months of work. He sent me a receipt for $84, as I recall. It might have actually been less than that. He had a chance to lead the country's biggest radio show, the morning show at ESPN, almost as soon as we got there. But he turned it down to stay with us. He stopped doing his beloved Peepo character, which gets universal applause, and he never told me why, though I'm assuming it was because it reflected stereotypically poorly upon our people. I'm pretty sure that he leaves our doors without an enemy, even though I think Tony would be totally justified in making him one. And many, many years ago, when Mike Ryan was still a baby, I asked Mike to tell me every single thing he needed as an executive producer to replace Hawk, a friend who had known me since college. Mike pointed to Billy and just Billy and said, just him. All I need is him. And damn it if they didn't do as good a job in knowing me and tolerating me and helping me and understanding me over the years as someone I'd known as a best friend for 2 decades before I met them. My studio at ESPN was meant to look like a Cuban kitchen from the 1950s. Me and Papi never get that far, never get to the middle of sports on television in my father's second language representing Miami if Billy wasn't always working on making us better from another room inside that house. I do not know how to say goodbye here. I do not. I don't know how to end this because I'm in no big hurry to see it end. But it must have been super confusing to Billy as I saw him cry for the first time ever while telling me of a decision that clearly pained him, to see the smile spreading so widely across my face. I have not given him that smile. Much over the years because of wherever my repressions have been. So maybe he leaves me, us, and this. But that gratitude, that does not leave with him. That stays here, and it stays here forever. You could have helped me make it funny, Billy. You could have helped me make it funny. Sent it to him the night before, 6 p.m. Gets back to me 7:15. Feels like a skit. I'm going to miss people. But I already miss people.
There's people going.
Yeah, my favorite comment during all that was, Billy was people?
I didn't see you guys getting emotional during that. I saw you guys just looking straight ahead and wearing a mask of sheer strength and masculinity.
I want to track back a few minutes ago. Do you think you're emotionally repressed? Is that what you were trying to convey? That you are emotionally repressed? Do you believe this?
You guys have helped open me up a bit. That's not something, none of that stuff, crying on television, sure. Not something I did on my first 15 years of television. I was just talking to Zaz about this a second ago, how lonely it is to do shows by yourself, because Zaz does Zaslow Show 2.0 by himself, does it very well, but it's lonely. You guys have helped me a great deal there. You don't know how much you've helped me. People don't know how much Billy has helped us over the years, even as they love Billy. But you're not comfortable with any of this, right?
Me? I mean, yeah, you know, that's what it is. Kind of now trying to edit something real quick. We have going on later, and
You're too busy for all this right now?
I mean, we started late, and now we're up
Apologize
against
to him,
it.
Dan.
Trying to use the breaks to finish editing something that we got cooking up, and now that we're gonna have no break times. And
Well,
now,
do you want to explain why we finished
Jeez.
late? Do you want to, Chris Cody, do you want to explain your father being late again? The reason we started late is because Greg Cody was supposed to scoop everybody with Billy Gill is leaving and create the chatter necessary to draw people over to our show to start and hear the beginning of the show. But he didn't release it on time because your father is a fool. Like, he's known this since yesterday, but your father is simply, that's not an act. Your father's a fool.
Well, and he'll have an excuse. He'll have some type of excuse as to why it came out several minutes after 9, when obviously it should have been like 10 or 15 minutes before 9. He'll have some type of excuse. And it's the same thing with Cody being late here when he shows up. It's like, dude, Leave 25 minutes earlier than you normally. Oh, but there was traffic. Oh, okay. To make sure there's no traffic, leave 25 minutes earlier, and he refuses to. So whatever happened today, this happened. Why didn't you release it 15 minutes earlier than you wanted to?
In Greg's defense, there's probably cyber traffic today. More cyber traffic than normal, not using the right
Always
Wi-Fi
something.
speed. I mean, yeah, what is he to do? Am I to believe that those leaks are coordinated?
Well, this one was. This is what Mike said to me during this. Like, we're just sitting here tapping our feet, and this takes a minute to produce. So we're just waiting for Cody. And Mike says to me, the one time you actually gift this to him, he fumbles the bag. Chris, can you explain to me? Because I told you when I left here yesterday, I told you, tell your dad Billy's leaving. He's going to love that. And your smile, the smile that came on your face was strong. And then he peppers me all night. When can I release it? And I'm like, go talk to the people in charge. Go talk to the people who have the schedule on time. We should call your dad to ask him, because he totally botched this. He's not going to get the clicks because he didn't have it first. He doesn't know how to be first in the information age when there's cyber traffic, and he doesn't want to leave his home on time.
He had all the info. Plenty of time last night. This is ridiculous. I have no idea why he didn't get it out earlier.
Wake up a little bit earlier and make sure it gets done. That's it.
He can't control it.
You guys think
You hit send or however it works, and it takes as long as it takes. Remember Napster? That you'd hit download, and you'd have to come back 6 days later to get a song.
yeah.
I stole so much music.
What
Come
was
at
that
me,
guy's?
Metallica.
What I was gonna say? What was that guy's problem?
Lars?
What's his deal?
Come at me, Lars.
What's his problem?
I stole so much.
Dude,
Lars, I stole so much of your music. And what?
what do you think his net worth is? God, please, crying over whatever spilt milk.
He's doing all right.
Can you explain, Zaz? Because I think people think it's bit how frustrated Chris's dad has made you over the years. And it's not bit. I've gotten texts from Zaz, I'm not kidding, for 20 years about Cody's behavior.
I was late here one time, right? Okay, so I started coming in here regularly, I don't know, in the last 5-6 months. I was late one time. I was so embarrassed. It was because of traffic. Now, I leave earlier because I made sure that's never going to happen again. But Greg refuses to adjust. Like, nope, this is when I leave. And in situations like this, today, it's like, no, this is when I release my story. Do it 10 minutes earlier.
This is such. It's one time in our history together that I genuinely feel Miami has a shot at a national title, and you're getting the out of here. You're not. It's not even about winning number 6. It's about shoving it in your face.
Me?
This is bull.
Wait, we're talking about me? Yeah. Lars is worth $350 million.
Yeah, they're a successful band. You heard of them, right? Metallica?
Yeah, that was a crybaby.
I would have been 400 though without Napster.
I guess.
In the defense of stealing music, Billy's headed to Spotify. And we are happy for him.
For the moment. You got 2 days to ruin that for him.
Exactly right. Greg reached out to me. He's like, would you like to comment on this? I'm like, no, thank you. Like, I don't know what their situation is, and if they want that out there, I would prefer if this did not happen.
So tomorrow's your last day, right?
Yeah.
That's what Greg
I may be
reported.
back next week if I get fired before I start.
Well, how does this work with the bucket? If you lose at
the
bucket,
best pick of all time today.
Yeah.
No consequences.
No, you have to show up to your initial
100%.
Spotify meeting.
All right.
Okay, but you know what's like in the bucket, if he gets a swap and then he swaps with someone who has something really good, you get the hell out of here with that nonsense.
You haven't suffered actually many consequences when it comes to punishments, but when you have, they've been hugely memorable. Like this season, you did the Ted Lasso, which consists of just putting on a fake mustache.
No falsehoods. I had to be positive. And again, I went above and beyond with the mustache. And UD reached out to me personally, said, you're good. So thanks, UD.
Okay, I'm sorry to do this. I think the rules should probably be more lenient for you the last couple of
What's
days.
happening here?
But
What are we looking for?
I'm looking for,
Using
hold
those
on
cheaters?
a second. No, let me see if I can find it. It's not here anymore. The penalty for lying, because that's not true. You did not get reached out to
I
by
like Chris
Udonis
saying it's the
Haslam.
same place it was last time.
Yeah,
That was off mic, Billy.
but it's not there, so instead, this is the penalty.
Minor penalty, 2 minutes. Fork came out of your mouth.
We will be nicer to Billy these next couple of days. And to prove that to you, yeah, that onion sound, that haunts me. Like, I was truly disgusted and felt bad for what would be a later hospitalized Billy Gill. The eating of a whole onion seems not smart and seems disgusting. But
it also has nothing to do with kidney stones, let's be real.
yeah, that's
It dehydrates.
I did him a solid. Got him to the hospital quicker. You're welcome.
The way that we're going to celebrate this is obviously with the best producers in the land spending months to produce something to celebrate a great career here, 15 years here. That's one hell of a run. So we had Chris Cody cook up top 5 Billies. He spent a lot of time on this the last few months working on how can I say goodbye to my good friend who I rub his back during skits and he touches my face, and how do I celebrate this man I've loved for 15 years. I know I'll do top 5 Billies.
I'll give you Billies who are better than you.
You want to see emotionally repressed, all right? Get out of here, Dan.
OLI?
I've arrived.
Any OLI here?
No.
So
Number 5,
to say good-
Billy Bean. Number 4, Billy Crystal. Number 3, Billy Joel.
Oh, just number 3, huh?
Number 2,
Piano Man.
Billy the Marlin.
That's right, Zaz.
And number 1, this is going to be, it's Billy Gill.
Holy shit. No wonder it took you months to prepare something so carefully sculpted.
I had Billy Crudup.
What about Billy Corbin? How does Billy Corbin not get
No way.
How does he not get an OLI?
He's second on the list of Billies that get number 6 rubbed in their face.
Can you get for me, please? Can you get for me just, I think, I don't know if Zaz's favorite clip from that is what I'm about to show you, but I think I want to go around and nominate from the video. And if you're only listening to this on audio, I suggest you check it out on YouTube. The montage the folks did here for Billy was lovely and covers a lot of ground. But my favorite moment, do you have it there, of me, emotionally repressed me, sobbing while talking to the actor Rob Delaney about the death of his child and the death of my brother. This, I believe, Zaz, if Zaz were coming up with a top 5 list of the moments that we just showed in that montage, I think he would choose this as number 1. The places that you and I talked about the loss of your son. The places that you and I talked about the loss of your son at the time that we talked about it. I didn't even know my brother was sick when we had that conversation. And in the time since then, my brother has died. And I will tell you that the pain of that has been, I don't know what your pain is exactly, right? I can't possibly know, even though you've written a book. But I feel like I lost a son because I raised him.
Yeah, it's brutal, and I'm glad that you are talking about it. I'm so incredibly sorry. I'm glad that you're crying and that people can hear that, because the pain.
There's an old-timey baseball player here, Rob. Like what? Yes, thank you. Like, I can't cry in front of these people. Do you know how weak it is? Do you know? I'm a blubbering idiot, Rob. I mean this to be funny. Like, look, there's an old-timey baseball player, Rob.
I know.
It's my favorite.
See how well it goes when you actually pay the punishments? I mean, sometimes you end up in the hospital, but sometimes you stare at a camera with a mustache dressed as a player from 1919. Billy, is there anything that you would like? And we'll have plenty of time for this over the next couple of days. I can get to the sports stuff, and we got a loaded show filled with a lot of guests
We have to talk
today.
to Congressman today.
Yeah,
too.
we got to
It's very
talk
important.
We got to bet the house.
Got to solve this government shutdown today on the Dan Le Batard Show.
Or bet the house, or we could just bet the
Oh,
house.
come on, that's when I need to finish editing. We have to get. It takes a little time, and we're a little bit late. So
Is there
no promises?
because of Greg Cody? Chris, get your dad on the phone so we can hear his
another guest today.
his excuses.
Can we veto this?
I just want to call him. I just want to call him and hear his excuses. We don't have to see him at a Zoom or anything else. Just a phone call so that I can find out for Zaz what I want to guess what the excuse is he's going to make for botching this. But is there anything that you would like to say, or would you like? I know you're not comfortable, or I'm assuming you're not comfortable with some of this. Is there anything that you want to say, or do you want to just save it for tomorrow?
Nah, we're good. You're,
Okay.
you're talking to me, right? Nah, we're good.
Okay.
I'm sorry I broke a camera when I was in the penalty box. I threw a baseball at it.
Well, just throwing. Look, I am not surprised that your last acts will be of sabotage, that you will leave Maximum Anarchist rolling a grenade across the floor, but you're going to be wearing a costume your first day at Spotify.
Well, we'll see how I do. I pull out a winner again. UD told me you're good. So
Man,
I built up some credit there.
Where did this lying penalty go on my board? There used to be a penalty for lying on here.
Chris just said Jesus Christ off mic.
The Miami Dolphins mess continues to swirl in a way that makes Billy say off air that the Dolphins should move the franchise, and Zaz get excited about a fire sale. So let me just take you through the video and the audio from the last couple of days so you guys can see the mess the noisy mess the Dolphins presently have on them that is unlike the mess around other 1-5 teams. Let's begin with what it is Tua said after they lost a game that he won with less than a minute left and shouldn't have been lost and was not his fault in any way that they lost. And he made sure to point out to you afterward that it was not his fault in any way that they're losing.
I think it starts with the leadership in helping articulate that for the guys, and then what we're expecting out of the guys, right? We're expecting this. Are we getting that? Are we not getting that? We have guys showing up to player-only meetings late, guys not showing up to player-only meetings. Like, there's a lot that goes into that. Do we have to make this mandatory? Do we not have to make this mandatory? So it's a lot of things of that nature that we got to get cleaned up.
To be clear, you're saying some players were late or missed?
Late, yeah.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely not his fault in any way. I'm glad he pointed that out, including, another multi-interception game, this time 3 of them.
It was a 3-interception game, right? It's not a multi-interception game. But 2 of them, I mean, the first one wasn't his fault, and the last one was irrelevant.
Oh, stop making excuses.
Not irrelevant.
Never seen before.
I saw the Miami Miracle. You know about Kenyon Drake?
You thought that that's where that play was going to end up at the end. It was bad and sour punctuation, and 3 interceptions obviously is bad. But
I don't know. I can't predict the future.
okay, here's McDaniel reacting to what it is that Tua said, and it's exactly what a quarterback needs to not do. They all know it. They've known it. Marino used to do this expertly. The only job is make sure the questions get away from your locker. Like don't say anything ever about anything that can become a headline. Don't ever do that.
Regardless of an intent and, what was on Tua's mind, after a loss as the franchise quarterback, that's not the forum to displace that. I think he knows that now. I do honestly believe it was not, there's no ill intention, but you're talking about, I think kind of a misguided representation of, player orchestrated film sessions, and the bottom line is no one's going to be happy, and always is looking for reasons for failure to succeed. So you're trying to look for reasons that you can attribute to losses, and there's heavy as the crown of being a franchise quarterback.
Just rambling nonsense.
Nonsense.
This team is so bad.
It used to be so cute, that whole shtick. It's not cute anymore.
There's nothing good here. You guys are a joke.
When Zaz says used to be cute, Zaz has arrived at Tua's unlikable, which caught me totally off guard. But let's get to Tua's apology here, because this is the kind of stuff you don't want to be doing, wasting energy on publicly and privately while trying to prepare to get out of a 1-5 hole when you can't stop anyone from running the football.
As a leader of this team, of the Miami Dolphins, the comments that had been said, I would say I've made a mistake, and I'm owning up to that right now. I've talked to guys on the team about it, talked to the leaders about it, and that they know my heart. They know that the intent was right, but no matter the intent, the intent can be right, but when things get misconstrued or however the media wants to portray it, that leaves a void of silence and a lot of questions for the guys on our team. Now, being 1-5, we talk a lot about, all right, we got to get this going. We got to get this going. Come in excited to go to work. Forget about the noise. And I feel like I just added onto that for our guys. For myself, I got to look at myself as the leader, protecting the team. I don't feel like I did that to the best of my abilities. I felt like I let the emotions of the game get to me after the game. And, that's something that I can learn from as a leader on this team. And what happens in-house should be protected, and none of that should have gotten out. And so want to publicly apologize about that. Want to move forward, and now want to focus on the Cleveland Browns.
Is the game plan for the Cleveland Browns rambling?
My God.
Did he write that in a Sharpie on the whiteboard?
I'm just watching like the worst soap opera ever.
I slipped into a coma in the middle of whatever that was. I think he's crossed over a line now where he's kind of unlikable.
Yeah, I don't like him.
Let's go back a few examples.
I have one example.
You're going to say mine now.
Glass bottles on a boat. You don't do that. Yeah. People can cut their feet. Yeah. Irresponsible.
I love him.
He got that concussion and ruined that season, too.
Not what I was going to say, but...
Oh, really?
Okay.
Oh, you're a bad guy if you have a glass beer bottle on a boat. You don't do that.
Remember the beginning of training camp last year? And the first time he's talking to the crowd, he gets on the microphone and he tells everybody, "Show me the money!" Who does that? It was like, and we all thought it was kind of weird in the moment.
A cartoonish Hollywood character does that.
Who does that? It's an odd thing to do. Then you had earlier this season when he was asked, how do you recover over something like, or how do you take into the criticism and say, my family loves me, I just go home and everything's okay.
All right, you guys have turned on him because he's losing, and I
Questions
understand
the leadership.
that. No, but this
when
is,
he's the leader,
100%,
and his politics.
Yes.
You guys have turned on him. I want you to see how Chris Cody was looking at him. And I'll remind you that the way that Chris Cody talked about him was show me the money was super confident. Look, my quarterback's confident. I love that I have a confident quarterback. And he told us in that interview where Chris Cody was playing with his drawstrings and staring longingly at the Dolphins finally have a quarterback, he told us that was a bet. He had a bet with one of his teammates that he wouldn't do that, and he won the bet. That's what he was doing.
Short on money.
So he has a bet to show everyone I can look like.
Let's call your father. Speaking of Chris, let's call your father and have him give us his explanation for why he botched this the way that he botched this morning.
The thing is like if he just owned it, I think you'd feel different too. It's like he does these things and he like backtracks like, oh sorry, like I want to be
Cody or
guy.
Tua?
No, Tua. Like just own it. Like you want to be a villain, be a villain.
Hello, Greg. Greg, what happened? Greg, what happened?
What do you mean?
Why were you?
What do you mean? What happened?
We're calling you on air. We're calling you on air right now. And we're just curious why you broke the news late and why our show was waiting around for you to break the news.
Yeah, I can't answer the latter, but I did not break the news late. The story I wrote posted online in the Miami Herald at 8:58, and it's doing very good business. It's already in just a matter of minutes. It's already the second most read thing I've written this month, and so
first?
I'm all happy on this.
What's the first?
That's incredible considering how bad the Dolphins have been.
Was the first them being 15th in the league?
No, the first one happens to be their loss to Carolina. Just randomly.
Well,
not that anybody cares.
We'll break that. We'll break that record for you. Billy will break that record for you. But do you understand how it is that it wouldn't quite work to break the news 2 minutes early because it doesn't give people the time to go from wondering why Billy is leaving, talking about why Billy is leaving, being curious and wanting answers to why Billy is leaving, and have only your article to look for? It would have been better for you to not do that with 2 minutes, because then you would have given people time to react to it.
Yeah, well, we had a technical issue on this end.
Cyber traffic.
That delayed it by about 10 minutes. Nobody wants to hear about that. You know, I'm not an excuse maker.
No.
My main thought is that I'm sad that I'm not in today to share in the fond farewell to Billy.
Well, tomorrow's the last day if you want to come in and work 3 days this week.
No, in Greg's offense, he has the knee thing, and he signed a two-day-a-week deal. So,
but if you want to say
thank
goodbye
you,
to
Bill.
Billy, tomorrow's his last day, not today. So you do still have time. You could beat traffic. If you start early, you can beat traffic, get here on time tomorrow, and be here for Billy's last day.
Yeah, that would require me to cancel an appointment with an orthopedic surgeon who wants to repair my knee. So I'm going to decline that, but I'll miss Billy. Nobody will miss Billy more than me, who has come to my defense over the years, and I patented the phrase, "Thank you, Billy." I patented that phrase.
Copyright.
I now
No, you
own-
didn't.
Yes.
Greg,
Yes.
Greg,
Thank you, Billy.
Greg, your Billy tweet this morning came out at 9:03.
Yeah, but the story posted at 8:58. I'm a busy man, Zaz. You know, I have things on my plate other than this story, believe it or not.
Oh,
And
so you're
I
saying now that
tweeted-
something is more important than clicks? You're saying publicly that something in your life is more important than clicks?
Of course, yeah.
What was it?
Friends and family, health. I have perspective.
What were you those
What can I
13
tell you?
those 13 minutes that you were late? Was that because you were tending to friends and family?
That's exactly right. And by the way, I croon a tribute song for Billy. Getty and I put together a tribute song, which is heartfelt, and I look forward to you all hearing that. My voice is terrible right now.
Yeah.
by the way.
Okay. Well, just it
something going around.
It
It's
looks
not-
all the
yeah,
singing.
It
Greg's
looks like the
defense.
rest of you. See you later.
Greg, I
Thank you,
tried
Billy.
your K-cup trick.
Did you, Ann?
I liked it. It tasted good. I felt like I got good value.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, how about
Right
that?
back. Yes, I appreciate that.
You want to tell the
That's
people?
the first compliment you've ever given me.
You want
Thank
to
you.
tell the people who weren't listening yesterday what the K-cup trick is, so that they have some context to what it is that you're saying.
Yeah, so Greg yesterday
Yeah.
said that he does the K-cup to make his coffee, and rather than throw it away after usage, he believes that there's still some good, coffee bean grinds still in that cup, and he uses it again for an extra cup.
Yes. What a money saver.
Drinking your coffee. Drink it with Cody.
Look how happy Jeremy is there. We should have the narcissist cam on Jeremy there, just listening to the sound of his own voice. We all know he loves the sound of his own voice.
You're going to get to hear more of it, apparently.
I hope so. Well, how much more do you have there? Did we ever find out whether that's music we're allowed to use or not? Because I
Hope so.
Go learn.
Mike was very strong on air telling me that it's music that we can use. And then after the show, I'm like, are you sure we can use that? Mike was slightly less sure. We used Steamboat Willie as soon as he became available. As soon as he got out of Disney's evil clutches, we used that, and he became public domain. I believe the greatest song, because John Tesh called Monday Night Football's theme the greatest song ever made. I'm surprised to hear that's public domain. I'm surprised. I heard you guys talking before the show about how you remember a day when Monday Night Football started at 9 o'clock.
Well, because what happened was, the guys out there were complaining that, number one, complaining about the 2 Monday Night Football games, which I love when there's 2 Monday Night Football games, but it's 7 and 10 p.m. this week, the Monday Night Football. Like, 10 o'clock is way too late. And then I had to remind everyone, When I was growing up, Monday Night Football was at 9:20. Dan, that's so late, 9:20.
Yeah, but there were only 3 channels back then, and so
no, in the 90s, no.
When Monday Night Football, let's see what time I have here. When Monday Night Football was starting and at its largest, it's when it was 3 channels.
No, I remember growing up as a kid on ABC, Salt and Pepper doing a "What a Man" intro for Dave Wanstead.
Oh, remember they had like the
Yes.
guest musicians do the intro.
Cable was around in the 90s.
Man, what a time to be alive.
Remember the local pregame show with Cephalo?
Yes, Cephalo and Hank would be
The
there.
good, the bad, the ugly.
We're here at Shula's.
Put it on the poll at LeBatard Show. Do you prefer when there are 2 Monday Night Football games?
Why not?
Yes or no, because I may be longing for a time, a romantic time that, as Mike just pointed out on my timeline, doesn't actually exist. When there was one game that everybody was watching on Monday night, that we were that America was watching something together, and it was the one thing. Hell, I mean, when Zaz talks about, think about how outdated this is. When Zaz talks about growing up watching Monday Night Football, whether there was cable or not, the rights were so fractured back then that you would get caught up on all of Sunday's highlights on Monday Night Football. They'd put the package together for you, and it was something that everybody was watching. You were not getting your highlights instantaneously. You were waiting for Monday Night Football and Howard Cosell to deliver you what happened on Sunday.
Dan, Sunday night, Chris Berman's 2-minute drill, must watch. Because I had to know what happened in all the other games.
I thought it's the fastest 3 minutes in sports.
They changed it because then, they wanted to pack in some more odds. It used to be fastest 2 minutes. They changed it to
But it was
3.
never 2 minutes. It was always 25 minutes.
They're like,
right?
Boomer, you've earned an extra minute.
No, I think it was always 25 minutes, and they called it the fastest 2 minutes in sports.
Either way, they had to stop calling it that after Rick Pitino took the Louisville job.
Yeah. The Dolphins and Tua, the thing you're doing on making him unlikable is because he's 1-5 instead of 5-1. Like, you're going to find the reasons because you're mad at this football team.
Yeah, bad quarterback is unlikable.
He gave you hope. They gave you hope. They gave you basically 11 games of hope when they were 9-2 and then lost to Tennessee at home in a Monday night game. That was a standalone game. That's the only one anyone was watching that night. There weren't 2 of them that night.
That's when everything went wrong. Right there.
Our fault for sure.
That blown lead.
That watch party.
I am longing for a romantic time. I think Zaslo's probably got this right. If I gave you 10 games on Monday night, that would be the preference.
We have to reverse the curse. Yeah. It was a watch party that did this. Yes. Now, to turn things around, you're going to host a block party at a Flanagan's in Kendall.
This is going to be huge and fun.
Billy, you going?
It's a block party.
What day is this?
It's the 30th. It's soon here. It's very near your house. We're finally putting one of these
before Halloween. Everybody knows I like to get my Halloween trick-or-treating in early, so.
It's presented by our good friends at Miller Lite.
It is unknown if Billy will show up, but the rest of us will be there. And it is a fun block party that we have planned.
I can't wait to see you all there. I'm sure you're really excited to see me and not Billy.
$1,500 costume contest will be there at the Flanagan's in Kendall, October 30th. Woo! Good fun.
Does Jeremy think he's replacing Billy?
This episode of the Dan Le Batard Show is presented by DraftKings. DraftKings, the crown is yours.
David Sampson somehow, and I don't really understand how he's doing this, and I'm about to ask him why he's doing it, continues to trudge through and do nothing personal every day because he has a special relationship with his audience. He appreciates his audience. I assume that's a big part of the answer. But what he's going through at home is a true horror, and I won't delve into too many of the details here. You can catch up on Nothing Personal if you want to know. But one of the details I did want to ask him about is someone who cares about him and knows about him because he's got a sick child, daughter in the hospital, is he seems particularly ill-equipped to be trapped in a hospital as someone who likes his control and, is a bit of a control freak, and he's in a situation that leaves him pretty powerless. So, David, thank you for joining us. And before we get to the sports of the day, why are you still working at a time that it must be very, very hard to work?
Well, I'm only doing 3 shows this week, and I did I took 2 weeks after this happened, and I wanted to get back because I missed the audience. I missed the feeling of of trying to be normal, of trying to control stuff. And the thing about having someone who's sick with my daughter is that I can't plan anything. So during this morning's show, two things have happened. Is that an appointment, doctors don't care about my schedule. When an appointment changes, like in the middle of a live show, sometimes I just have to go because I don't get asked for whether, are you free on this day at this time? It's not mutual at all. And then you wait 45 minutes. So what I'm trying to say is that we had a 9:40 today, and it's not 9:40 or whatever time you're listening to this, and I get a lovely text saying, hey, sorry, are you okay? 15 minutes late. Cody couldn't get himself together, and I can't stay long today because I was supposed to be gone, but then it changed.
That's Greg Cody's
anyway,
fault.
Dan, I can't stand it.
That's all Greg Cody's fault. It's very low on your list of problems and complaints at the moment, but blame Cody.
No, I just don't understand. If you told Cody, I didn't know. I spoke to Billy last night, if I could say that, Billy, and
you cannot.
And I was happy to talk to you and thankful. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that. I don't know what I'm allowed to say anymore.
Well, David doesn't know how to be a human being, and I'm going to betray him now by expressing one of the ways that he tries to be a human being but fails while...
You cannot express that either?
No, I'm going to.
No rules for anyone.
I have to now. Just
Where's this lying button?
Well, all of you guys were deeply touched that David sent you a gift until you started talking and realized he had sent you all the same gift. And then Roy realized that he hadn't gotten the same gift that you guys got. And so what was a very thoughtful gesture by David ends up in disaster.
Still actively is.
I did not want to do this,
very
David.
nice. And we all said, don't do it on air.
There's a place on my wall waiting for that gift.
Yes.
Let me tell you how offended I am, Dan. That's just wrong what you're doing. That's just wrong.
What was the gift?
One of the coolest things I've ever received.
Absolutely.
So,
genuinely.
If you can't figure out why certain people in the company got that specific gift, and Roy, if you're listening, it wasn't a Panthers gift. It was a Marlins-related gift.
He loves baseball. I know
that
about
him.
Oh, we know that about him.
He's the only one here who hit a home run at the old Marlins Park.
I saw it went right over my head. It was very impressive.
Metal bat.
Dan, listen, if you guys are really pissed, then I have nothing to say to any of you. If that's really how you feel, then
I didn't say they were pissed. I didn't say they were pissed.
Whatever.
I said that said they were touched. They were all touched, and then they started talking, and they realized they'd gotten the same gift. And then Roy realized he hadn't gotten a gift because they all talked about how thoughtful your gift was. That's how it happened. I'm not saying that they were pissed. They were not pissed. They all thought it was thoughtful, so thoughtful that they mentioned what a great gift it was. And that's how the cat left the previously aforementioned bag.
I didn't mention it at all. Yeah. And
were all the notes the same?
Well, we didn't compare notes. I kept it to myself because I assumed you sent me a nice personal gift. And then just a couple of minutes ago, when the three of them were talking about a gift they received, my heart sank.
I only didn't tell Billy just because I was like, wow, Billy would love this more than anyone.
Okay, so if you must know, and this is a bit of a spoiler alert for upcoming episode of Mystery Crate. Yesterday we were talking on Mystery Crate, and I was saying how, just how kind of this happened in a timeline, whatever. And I was like, and I had a conversation with Dan last Monday. It was like a really emotional day.
Go on.
Whatever. And then I get home, and I see this giant box on my doorstep, and it's from David Sampson. And how, it was such an emotional day. And, forever I'll remember that the day that I came in and had this conversation, I said, I'm going to be leaving, whatever. I opened this really thoughtful gift from David Sampson with this nice note, whatever. And then Chris is like, got the same gift. And I was like, whoa, what happened here? I had this memory. I was like, what a sweet man. He sent me this thing. It's a difficult time, obviously, for him as well. And I'm never going to forget that on this hard day for me, it ended with this very thoughtful gift. And then he's like, not as thoughtful. I got one,
It's
too.
super
And then Jeremy's
sweet.
like, me too.
It's not any less sweet to me.
I'll tell you,
It
the note
really
the note
nice.
made me cry. It did.
I mean, come on.
Crocodile
The wind
cheers.
makes
Let me
you
tell
cry.
you guys, so
I also, David, was wondering.
The wind makes you cry.
We were talking, and I was also wondering, David. I said, you know what? Is this David potentially showing in my face you weren't at this game and you will never have been at this game? I'm sending you this lineup card so you never forget what I did to you, you son of a bitch.
So I'll give you the background because now you've done it, Dan, and it's so wildly inappropriate of you. But that's your choice. It's your show. It's your name on the show. I'm happy for you. It's really nice. So the background is that I was lucky enough to be at Ichiro's game in 2016 when he hit his 3,000th hit in Colorado. And I had the foresight at the time to get lineup cards from that game and have them done and authenticated as the lineup cards from the game. And I asked Don Mattingly and managers sign lineup cards, and I asked Ichiro to sign the lineup card because he started that game. And it had been a big thing. Would he play that day and get his 3,000th hit on the road or not? Then I got game tickets from that day, and I asked Ichiro to sign those. And I had them for 10 years. This happened in 16, 9 years. And I said after my daughter got sick, I started trying to control those things I could control. So I started doing things that I had not done, one of which was to get these framed. And it was no small thing. I got them framed, and I had a certain number of them, and I had to make decisions on who would get them. And now, if you want to feel badly enough, I will tell you, well, I'm not even.
Go on.
No. Okay, I will. When you go through and you make a list of who you think would enjoy it, who it would be meaningful to, and I had allocated in my head that it would be for my 3 children would get one, and people I've worked with who have a relationship with baseball or with Ichiro, including someone else in our company who got one, Dan, and I forgot about a name. And so I took one away from my sick daughter thinking, A, she doesn't like baseball, B, will she not even know if she doesn't have
That's
one.
That's a cheap trick he just played on
Now
us.
what?
Because I didn't want.
Now what?
It's all,
one of the names.
It's an elaborate
to get
dance.
one.
It's an
So-
elaborate dance he just did
I
to
hope
show
you're
that
happy, Dan.
this is
You
what
must feel like a real
You
asshole,
did
Dan.
this.
this is what he
You
just
did
did.
this.
And you should.
He just checkmated me because he made his list. He makes a lot of little lists. He made his list, and Roy wasn't on it. And look at how he just did it. This is why he's the grand negotiator that he is. That was sophisticated, what he just did to me. It was very good. It was very well done. Fine. I put my sword down. That's the reason you didn't get Roy one.
So that's it. Thank you.
I'm not giving up
Anything
mine.
else you want to talk about today?
Roy can have mine now that the emotional aspect of this has been so diluted.
I will say this: like it was a replica, and at the time,
It's not
I was
a replica.
like, okay,
It's authentically signed.
no, it is signed. I'm saying it wasn't the one that was in the dugout. Well, it doesn't matter. None of that matters.
How do you know
was-
they weren't plastered all over the dugout? And maybe there were.
They would be
wall
funny if it was
marks.
like wallpaper on the dugout
Yeah.
that day.
Billy is right. It doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't matter. I will say this though, because they do sell replicas of this thing, but these are not the replicas that they sell. These are like hand marked by Don Mattingly with all of the changes in the game. So whether or not it's the one that was in the dugout in the day, it's not like one that you just buy. He went in there and it changed the lineup, who came into pinch hit, what the pitching changed. Like all of that is marked, which is not something that's available to the public.
So, Billy, the way we do that is when something special happens, we will ask, and you have to ask Major League Baseball and the umpires and the other team, because there's one official lineup card. And everything's authenticated, there's a sticker on your lineup card, so it's actually authenticated. You can ask for permission to get more lineup cards, just like you can ask to change bases in a big game. You can ask to change bases more often so you have more things to give or to sell or to give to charity or to just have in your collection. And so this was a game where we had a thought that he's going to get the 4 at-bats. He's going to get the 3,000th hit. So we asked for more lineup cards, and I had a total of 18 of them made, and I've had them with me all this time, and I just now got them all framed and was able to FedEx them with notes to people. That is true of how that happened.
Genuinely, David, one of the coolest things I ever got. Genuinely, thank you. Like,
Yeah,
sincerely.
thank you. Dan, apologize. You ruined this
Please.
moment.
Well, I'm not going to apologize. And
Why?
furthermore, he just claimed he sent me one, and his daughter can have the one that he sent me because I have not seen the one he claims
I didn't
to have
send
sent
you
me.
one. You were cut from the list.
Oh.
Okay, but it's
Good, because the last time I sent you something, you just don't. Your place is cluttered. You have no attachment to it. I thought there'd be no meaning for you to have it, and I thought that Pablo would actually want one, and so Pablo got one.
See,
and you did not.
I knew that you thought that was him saying he also sent one to you. He was scolding you by saying your name. He wasn't saying he also sent one to Dan. He was saying
Correct.
I sent another one. Dan.
Don't take it personally, David. One year I remember was like one of my first years on the show. Like I got Dan a Christmas gift, and I wrote like a nice, what I thought was a nice like handwritten Christmas card. And then we came back from the break like 2 weeks later, and so I was still on the desk, and I was like, "All right, I'm throwing this in the trash." So it's not just
I was
you.
repressed back then. I wasn't somebody.
You more than made up for it.
I miss that guy.
Lewis always tells Dan when he leaves, "I love you," and Lewis just goes, "Thank you, Lewis."
Thank you.
I had the same relationship with my father. This is a true story. My father, my brother, and I would say, I'm saying this as more than 30 years, not joking. Me and my brother, Dad, when we say "I love you" to you, you say "I love you" back.
Nah.
Yeah, and so I just became my father. I was repressed, but not anymore. I love you, Billy. I love you, David, and
But not Lewis.
But not Lewis.
Thank you, Dan.
So the thing I wanted to talk about with David, because he's having some trouble finding, the importance in things that used to be important. Baseball, you care about it deeply. These playoffs have been great. The level of play is absurd. It's a totally absurd level of play. You've gotten used to it because it's been like this for about 6 or 7 years. Pitching overwhelming. What have been your big baseball takeaways? What have been the things that have reached you?
I just can't believe everyone throws 98. It just at any point in the bullpen, every starter. And it turns out, like last night's game with George Kirby, when the Mariners got off to the 2-0 lead, and you're thinking, my God, are the Mariners going to go to their first World Series? This is Hollywood stuff, like Mike Scherr stuff. Ichiro goes into the Hall of Fame. His number is retired. There's going to be a statue, and they're going to get a World Series appearance, and then maybe even a World Series victory if anyone can beat the Dodgers. And everything's going great. You got Kirby on the mound, and all of a sudden, Vladimir Guerrero says, okay, I think we're going to win this game. And the Blue Jays put a 13 spot, and Kirby had to wear like 7 or 8 runs. And you realize that, A, the Blue Jays are just a way better team than the Yankees, which is something that we can talk about. But B, anytime you think that you've got baseball figured out and that you're looking at a lineup or that a pitching staff that you think is the right one that will get you through October. The truth is, as executives, we don't know that much more than you do. We just say that we do because it makes us feel better.
Oh, but Cody, we know he's a boob, but Cody yesterday, as if he doesn't know what Monster Mashers Toronto is, even without Bichette. Cody is at risk of having to walk from here to Seattle on that knee because he thinks that he thought at 2020 that it was guaranteed that it's going to be Mariners Dodgers, and that's foolhardy in this sport.
Well, it's 11%, Cody. There's 11% chance when a home team loses the first 2 games of a 7-game series that team will go on and win the series. The Yankees did it in 96. The Mets did it in 86, and one other team did it, but that's it. But clearly, it's not over if you are Toronto. I think the Dodger-Milwaukee series, and I hate to say this for my friends in Milwaukee, who I love, and the city I love, and for Yelich, who I want to get a ring, but it is, I think you're going to see the Dodgers again from the National League. But in the American League, the Blue Jays, think about the game tonight. I mean, Max Scherzer has no business pitching a postseason game. He's a number 9 starter right now with a number 1 starter's mouth. That's what he is. And you're looking at Luis Castillo, not the Marlins second baseman, but the Marlins pitcher who we traded 5 times. He's going for the Mariners. And they have the clear advantage. If they go up 3-1, you got to believe. But even then, Toronto can do 3 in a row without a real big issue. So this series is up in the air, Chris.
We know we have to get you out of here. It's not Chris Cody. It's Greg Cody that's got to walk to Seattle.
Oh, excuse me. How can Greg Cody walk?
I'll probably end up doing it for him.
He said 58 days it'll take him, so He's going to do it.
You think it takes 58 days to walk from Florida to Seattle? It takes that long to fly to Seattle.
It takes 60 days, but Greg said he could do it in 58. Now, he also has an appointment tomorrow at the doctor because he has a trick knee right now that he has to have possibly surgery on. So it may be delayed, this walk of his.
This is worse than the onion trick. It's worse than any pepper that could be eaten. You can't make Greg Cody. I've done some races like this. You'll kill him. You'll kill him, guys. He can't walk across country.
He made the bet. He's the one who said it. He shocked me when he volunteered it. He said, with the Mariners up 2-0 and with the Dodgers up 2-0, if it's not Mariners-Dodgers, he will walk to Seattle.
But he didn't mean that.
Oh, he didn't say what he means?
No, he obviously didn't. The question is, what will you make him do? I would make him fly to Seattle. It's just as bad for Miami.
I want to get to your movie review for a second, but I also want to talk again about the Expos documentary that you are in. When is that coming out? You are featured in the trailer. I assumed you'd be the star and a star villain of this film. You have now seen it, yes?
Yes, Netflix. It's amazing what happens when you have a sick daughter. All sorts of ills can be passed over. So Netflix contacted me. They want to be a part of the premiere in Montreal, which was my plan. I was going to do a live Nothing Personal with old Expos players and all sorts of things. And of course, I didn't go to Montreal. But Netflix said, well, we'd like you to watch the movie. And I said, okay, do you need my address? And I'm such an idiot. I thought they'd send like a screener so I could pretend I was Adnan Virk. Instead, they were just like, hey, give me your email. And I said, fine, I don't like giving people my email, but you can have it. And all of a sudden, I turn on Netflix and the movie is there. I had to do a code and all sorts of weird stuff. So I watched the movie, and it comes out October 21st. And let's just say that the trailer that Netflix cut, the people who made the movie, I'd like you to ask your Hollywood people this, the people who made the movie didn't cut the trailer. Netflix cut the trailer, and it's not exactly how the movie goes, I'll say. But I am certainly in it as a featured interview, sort of like the narrator that carries the story forward. And I make it clear that it is all Derek Jeter's fault, obviously, that the local Canadian partner's fault that the Expos left.
Wow, that was something interesting that just happened with your short-circuiting of your brain chemistry.
That wasn't on purpose?
No, he just instantaneously blamed Jeter.
I blamed Jeter for, I was going to call Jeter and blame him for my daughter's sickness, but I thought that I wouldn't do that.
That seems a bit much.
No.
Did you send Jeter the Ichiro card or no?
No, I definitely, Jeter, he wasn't on any list. No, I'd like to know where the pictures are of us from the 2003 World Championship that he had removed from Marlins Park. Now that he's been fired, I was going to speak to Bruce Sherman and see if we can get those back somehow. Even if he doesn't want to put them up, maybe they could just send them so I could have them. But they're all gone from the ballpark. No, obviously Derek had nothing to do, nor would he even wish this. I haven't heard from him. I've heard from a lot of people, but I've not heard from Derek Jeter, and I'm appreciative of everyone I've heard from. But I don't keep track except on a list. But it is amazing. But no, I didn't kill the Expos, Dan, at all. And you'll watch the movie and you'll discover that it was Canadian people who killed the Expos, not me.
Nothing Personal is the name of the podcast. I urge you to listen to it. He is doing an extraordinary thing because of his connection with his audience. He should not be doing that podcast right now, given all of the stuff going on with his life. But the audience is helping him, and it helps him in some way to have a couple of hours a day, I would assume, where he's thinking about something else. We're running out of time, and he's got to go. So let's combine two things here. First, his movie review, but also let's have the bucket come in here, and let's have him also select from the Dentech bucket so that he can suffer the punishment if he loses. Give us your review while we're doing the bucket here, David, and we'll just say in the interim what it is that has been selected.
I've had enough punishments, but I'm happy to do it again. But I'm reviewing a movie that I thought would be the perfect movie for me to watch during this time, and it's called The Threesome. How do you watch a movie called The Threesome and not think of Lara Flynn Boyle, Stephen Baldwin, and Josh Charles?
Great movie.
How do you not think that you are about to watch something in the middle of the night that's going to actually give you a distraction? And it turns out the threesome is about a threesome that happens where they don't show anything. Zoe Deutsch, nothing. And then all of a sudden, she's pregnant? That's what the movie's about. It's about in a threesome when both of the girls get pregnant, and what happens after that. It is the most mistitled, mislabeled, mistake movie, wasted time that I don't have. And I kept hoping, is there going to be like a pregnancy threesome? Is there going to be something else that will draw my interest? And it was about like abortion. It was about all of these other political topics.
Were you hoping it was going to be porn?
Yes.
Jeremy, what did you
It's
select?
called the threesome.
I took the Bengals, but I'm putting it back.
Okay. What are you getting now here? Let's see what we're doing here.
David, you could have just watched porn.
I got the Giants.
Hey, the bucket is presented by Dentech's Ultimate Fantasy Football Punishment. Learn more and sign up your league at dentech.com.
Bad pick, Jeremy. The Giants are at Denver. They're a 7.5-point dog.
I don't know how I put back plus 5.5 and got something worse.
Mike Ryan is going now. Have you ever been to the bucket, David?
Yes, except you didn't make me serve the punishment, which
No.
I thought was weird because you make people serve
No,
punishments, but you didn't make
No,
me.
you have to serve the punishment.
So you owe one.
It's just because Billy's been running the punishments, and now Udonis Haslam is running the punishment, so we're going to fix that.
I have a
Mi-
+1 credit I'll apply to David on that one.
Mike,
so
what
we're
did you
square.
get there?
Got the Seattle Seahawks against the Texans. I will be keeping that.
All right, what are they
I'd like
favored
to
by?
pick.
We're going to do that, and we're going to get your punishment. Thank you for volunteering that you had one. What is the point spread in that game?
They're playing the Texans, pal.
Okay.
I'm good.
All right.
I'm
It's
good.
3.5.
It's all right.
Yeah, be
Very
cocky.
super
Be
confident.
cocky about the results
I
in
had
that
the
sport.
Cowboys last week. I was the only guy that lost.
That'll serve you.
Now I have to dress like a cowboy.
Go ahead, Billy.
Like a good rummage.
Give it a good rummage there.
And then, Billy, could you pick for me
Yeah,
in honor
sure.
of your
Is
departure?
this for you? Is this for
No,
you?
this is for me. I got a good. This is a Billy rummage. I got a rummage in here. I got a swap.
Oh, are you
Oh,
kidding?
No way.
He's gonna be.
Oh, brother.
That's like one of the best
All right,
things
take
in
another
there.
helmet.
Got the old swapperoo there.
You can put it back.
All right. Let's see here.
Come on, get a good one.
rummage.
Get a good one.
Oh, I got the Dentech golden helmet of
Are you
life.
kidding me? He got both of the best
Kidding.
things
This is
in there.
However, I do have that swap if I want to swap with someone.
Can you gift me with it?
All right. I got the Lions.
Monday Night Football against the Bucks, the first end of the doubleheader.
5.5-point favorite. You want
gotta
that?
keep
You
it.
got to keep that.
All right, I'll keep
Enticing
it.
helmet for someone who may have a swap.
I can't believe how well. That's the best. That is the on your final trip to the Dentech bucket. You just did better than anyone's ever done at the bucket.
David wanted him to pick for him, but look
There
at
we
his back.
go.
He's back, Jack.
All right, pick for David here.
David, the
This is for
good
David.
ones here that you,
You have-
might want are Buffalo or Baltimore. They're on a bye.
You have one putback, David, so you get to decide here.
I got the Patriots. Do you want the Patriots?
They are a 7.5-point favorite at the Titans.
Vrabel's return. You're going to want to keep that, pal.
I will keep the Patriots, please.
Okay, so you have to pay the other punishment though that we forgot about. So we'll figure out how to do that.
We'll stay on top of it.
That was 2 years ago, Dan. No, it expired.
That's the Meadowlark way. No. Stugotz still owes like a freestyle from the Clevelander that he's got to do on the stage at the Clevelander from 7 years ago.
Well, he's got to come in first. So.
Yeah, well, that too.
I got the Browns.
We got the Dolphins.
Yeah, Browns 2.5-point favorite at home against the
Gotta
Dolphins.
keep that.
Yeah.
No, I can't
Don't be a
root against
coward.
the Dolphins.
What's the matter
It's
with
an
you?
emotional hedge.
You've been yelling and screaming
put it back.
that they got to
Putting it
fire
back.
everybody, and now
Put it
you're
back.
afraid of them.
I root for the Dolphins.
You're a coward.
No, I want to root for them.
You're
It's
a
not that I'm
coward.
afraid.
You're a coward.
Steelers.
Thursday Night Football against the Bengals.
Tonight.
Yep,
Tonight.
5.5-point
I like it.
favorites.
Upgraded.
I got the Raiders. The Raiders are
The Raiders
what?
are at the Chiefs. 12.5-point underdog.
Keep
Man, keep it.
Keep it.
You're so anti-Chiefs.
I might swap, yeah.
And you got the Browns.
All right. So the Browns at home against the Dolphins.
You can swap though.
Yeah.
Well, it's up to. I can't swap
What are the
anything.
teams? Browns. What do you get? Steelers. Chris.
You want to do business with me?
Lions.
Lions. What do you have over here?
I got the Seahawks.
What do
I
you
got
have?
the Giants.
The Giants.
Jackson Dart.
I got the Pats.
Pats are a good favorite.
I'll switch with David. I'll take the Patriots.
Wow, David.
wow.
So David
David
now.
gets the golden helmet of life.
Yeah.
Congratulations,
After what we discovered about that
David.
gift.
Yeah, that's stunning. David, congratulations. A little gift from Billy there because he hates the rest of us. Thank you, Billy, for just
You're welcome.
really making that worse than it needed to be, as always. Thank you, David.
Bye, David.
Love you, David.
No, you don't.
We do love you. We do love you. That's not true. We do love you.
And the beard is a good look, by the way.
Oh my God, stunning.
My daughter loves it. That's
yeah,
why I have
it's
it.
great, dude.
I hope to grow it to be Letterman size.
Thank you, David. Big hug from over here. Zaz is going to be in South Bend this weekend. I want to get to some college football stuff, but first I want to go to the Vatican because I can say in the history of Catholicism, in the history of religion, in the history of God, him or herself, that you have a situation with the Pope that has never before been possible, where the Pope is a Cubs fan, and I have not seen this video, I've not heard this audio, and obviously I can't translate Italian, so I hope that this all speaks for itself. They lost.
Go Cubs!
Go Cubs, they lost, says the Pope.
Just dismissively, just like they lost.
In flawless English, I cannot explain to you how disorienting that is. I also can't explain to you how much closer to God it brings me.
Well, he also before like either screamed they lost in either Latin or Italian or something at them first, and then he said they lost in translate. I love a troll pope. I got to be honest with you. A pope that's out there giving sports hot takes. I mean, we thought we had the Pope and Francesca, but now we have a Pope that's talking sports. Like, this is great. And, Dan, I was thinking this. I don't know what you guys feel about this. You're going to South Bend this weekend, Zaz, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if you've heard this, but Notre Dame, very Catholic.
I know. I heard about that. You know about that touchdown, Jesus?
I've heard. And then there's also that statue that I think you put, like, gum on or something that we found out, no, Jessica was confused. Just someone put gum on someone's finger that one time, and she's been telling people all these years that that's what they do, which is not what they do. So don't put gum on statues. Now, Dan, Notre Dame has played in Ireland a number of times because they're Irish. But again, they're also Catholic. So I'm proposing Notre Dame play a game at Vatican City. You have a Chicago Pope. You have a Catholic team. Could you imagine a game at the Vatican? We already saw a concert there like 2 weeks ago.
We're about to see an MMA match on the White House lawn.
Yes.
Go ahead and play the Pope again talking about Cubs baseball.
Does he first say it in Italian?
Yes,
They lost?
yes.
That's awesome.
That-
Then he translates himself.
Do you think he's ever doing like Pope duties and he's just in a bad mood because the Cubs lost?
What I think is there are a whole lot of people there next to the Cubs fan wanting to get closer to God and have some acknowledgement and being like, really? Like, that's what happened? Like, I want a blessing from the beyond, and the Pope's sitting here doing a sports talk radio show while he's in the Pope Mobile?
Well, he's a White Sox fan, so I think part of it is like, do your research.
Yeah.
I put a letter in a note in the Wailing Wall. You know, you put notes in it. It's a very religious place in Jerusalem. I put a note in the Wailing Wall hoping that the Dolphins would win the Super Bowl.
What a waste.
That really does seem like a waste.
It hasn't happened yet.
Wasting wall.
Dork.
Mike mentioned something. I meant to bring this up.
How old were you when you did that? That wasn't like now. What? Right?
I was 18.
Oh, my
okay.
God.
18.
And you're what, 58 now? 40 years ago
That's
you
some
did that.
Take that back.
You look good for 58.
He does.
You too, that's some bull. A couple bull right there.
How old are you?
Since you did that, the Dolphins haven't won a playoff game?
Yeah, I put it in Marino's last year.
Marino?
I genuinely don't know how old you are. It's because you wear this backwards hat that keeps you so young looking.
Thanks,
Yeah.
man. I appreciate that. And I shaved my beard, so I look like a kid again. I got like a Benjamin Buttons thing going on here.
And he rides a skateboard to work.
I think you put an S on button, and that's what old
58-year-olds
people
do,
do. Yeah, that's what I do. I put S's where they don't belong. That's exactly how that happens. But Mike enjoys calling other people dorks, and one of the things that he did earlier this week is he said, no, I've never scored a baseball game because I'm an adult who has sex. But there are many parents who have sex who score baseball games, including Greg Cody, because they have children and they score baseball games.
No, people that score, they do have sex.
Yeah, sex is cool, but have you ever written 643 on a scorecard?
Trust me, they have sex.
It's not foreplay, 6-4-3 play.
Dorks.
Put it on the poll
I have sex.
at Le Batard Show.
It's a backwards K if it's looking.
Who's cooler, person who has sex or person who keeps score of a baseball game?
Can't wait to see the result.
When they bat around the order and you have to figure out, wow, what am I going to do next in the next inning?
What are you looking forward to in South Bend? Because it does really appear, I do think if we're not doing any rankings, if we're not doing anything other than just watching football, I think most of the people listening to this would say that two-loss Notre Dame is one of the better teams in the country because they played with Miami and Texas A&M, even though they lost to Miami and Texas A&M. I said to you yesterday that there are not a lot of teams in the country that would be, like Miami is, a 2-touchdown favorite against Louisville. I think Notre Dame might be one of them. I don't think I can name 5 teams in the country that the money would say, I've watched football this year, and I believe that team to be a 2-touchdown favorite against Louisville. I think everybody would be scared of Louisville.
I think Mike is saying it properly.
That's right.
Okay. Name the teams that you guys believe would be 2-touchdown favorites against Louisville.
Ohio State.
Yeah, I think that's it.
Miami is 13.5 now.
I think Notre Dame might also be favored like that. I think Texas A&M might also be favored like that.
Depends on where.
Yeah,
Oregon at home.
Maybe USF if you put them in Alabama uniforms.
I don't think that Oregon at home would be that kind of favorite after what happened with Indiana.
They might be bad.
I'm here to tell you, yes, Oregon might be bad given what happened against Penn State and given everything we've seen that's happened around Penn State. But I remind you,
on DraftKings Sportsbook, you can get Oregon to miss the playoffs at north of plus 200.
I remind you, though, as we do transitive property of trying to figure out, not just in college football, pro football. Like, I think a lot of people, it's a crazy thing to say after this many games, but it happens with the randomness of injuries and kids. Who's good? Who's good? You got I ask you, you're watching an awful lot of football, and if I ask you who's good, college and pro, you're going to have a hard time giving me 10 teams, like total 10 teams that you know to be good.
That's an issue with us, too, because good football teams are like 9-win teams. 10-win teams are a real good football team, but we've made good like championship good or bust.
And what happens with Louisville and Miami, I think the money is doing this for this reason. When I say again and again, and it's not something I've done before, when it isn't. Over the last 20 years, you will not find me saying that Randy Shannon beating Oklahoma at home makes Miami good. You will not find me saying that after 2 wins against Notre Dame, the only top 10 wins that Miami has since 2017, that Miami is back and good. But this is why I'm willing to say it. It's not even the victories against Notre Dame, Florida, or Florida State. It's not any of those victories that make me say it, although in the cumulative, I do think they can beat you a ton of ways. 16-play drive at the start of the third quarter against Notre Dame, just hold the football game. The way they've won Florida State, Florida, and Notre Dame games are one kind of impressive, but those games look close on the scoreboard, even though they weren't that close. The one that makes me know that Miami is good is the win over South Florida, because I know South Florida is good. And I know no one else in the country thinks this. I'm telling you, South Florida is good. And they dragged them the whole game the way they could have to Florida, Florida State, or Notre Dame, but they let their foot off the gas. Against South Florida, what they did is they dragged a team that I believe could be in the playoffs good. I'm not even kidding when I tell you that the South Florida team, if I put it in an Auburn uniform, you guys would be saying, if I put it in an Alabama uniform, you guys would be saying that's a top 10 team because the athletes on that team are really good athletes.
I've been saying all season on ESPN Radio, I think USF's a playoff team.
And this is the team, by the way, that's given up an average of 31 points the last 2 weeks to Charlotte and North Texas.
They are not good at defense. They are good at offense.
Just confirming.
And those athletes are really good.
I think they're playoff. They're going to be the 5th conference champion. They're going to win the American, and they're going to make the playoffs.
It can be a flawed team, Jeremy, or even half a team and make the playoffs. There are so many half a teams out there where they've got one good unit, and those are going to be in the playoffs.
I mean, the 5th conference champion.
Yeah, no,
is
there's always a
team.
group of 5 team that will make it now with the new.
They're going to be that team.
Of course.
South Florida was slowed by Florida and Miami because Florida and Miami have playoff good defenses. South Florida is not going to get slowed by many people. South Florida should be respected the same way we're respecting Louisville because Louisville has done it longer and is going to get respect for offense and big game surprises. But that South Florida team, I'm absolutely telling you, Jeremy, if you watched, I did watch that Charlotte game. They were up 23-0 in the first quarter, and they dropped 6 passes right in their chest against Charlotte. That game was not in any way close, but yes, their defense is flawed, absolutely flawed. But their offense is not. It only got slowed by playoff-worthy defenses. Look who's there, everybody. Look who's there. Look at him. He is in the middle of peak October. He is in the middle of baseball. This is his happiest time. And he got a double play for the ages the other day. The thing that makes Tim more excited than anything in the world is when he goes to the ballpark and sees something that no one's ever seen before, because that can happen in baseball. He's everyone's favorite. He's the Hall of Fame baseball writer, Tim Kurkjian, analyst, reporter for Baseball Tonight, and the host of a great podcast with his son, Jeff. Is this a great game or what? It is really wonderful to watch him do this and see him do this with his son.
And he's also a hotel expert because he knows you get the 2 beds so you can sleep in one and have the storage on the other bed, right, Tim? You request 2 beds at a hotel.
I do, and being as small as I am, I don't need a king-size bed. Anything is fine. So the 2 beds works better for me because I put my suitcase on there if I need to. So, yes, I'm good in hotels.
What other veteran travel tips do you have for us as someone who has, been all over the globe following baseball players?
Well, I get in a lot of trouble for this, Dan, but I need a printed boarding pass to get on the airplane. And Eduardo Perez and Carl Ravitch, who I travel with, Eddie doesn't even need a boarding pass. He just gets on the airplane and they let him, whether he has a pass or not. I, being 68 years old, have to have a printed boarding pass in order to get on the plane. Otherwise, I would be that poor, doddering little old man who can't find the code or whatever that thing is called on my phone. I just want a piece of paper in my pocket so I can hand it to the gate agent so I can get on the plane. That's my number one rule when it comes to traveling. Take a printed boarding pass.
What happens if they change the gate after you get through security?
Well, I still have a printed boarding pass. I just have to look and find out where the gate gets changed all the time.
But do you go to the big boards to see, or do you get the mobile notification?
Love that board.
No, I go to the boards.
Okay.
I'd much rather talk to a person, look at a board, print a boarding pass in my pocket. That's just the way it works for me. I don't put anybody else through this. I don't make people go to the airport 4 hours before my flight like I do. It's just me that is part of all this ridiculous anxiety that I have at the airport, even though I've been traveling for 45 years. I just can't afford to be running through an airport at my age.
I'm more interested in Eduardo Perez just having free reign in airports and airplanes. Like, does he get to go in the cockpit mid-flight?
He's unbelievable. You know what he did in New York? He took a helicopter from JFK into downtown Manhattan.
That's a good move.
He checked it out. It was going to be an hour and a half Uber ride for $120. Instead, he paid $260 and took a 7-minute helicopter ride into Manhattan.
I could just get a helicopter?
He took a helicopter. And if you think that makes him some pretentious diva, because that's what he does, he's the opposite of that, because the next day he went and took his clothing to a laundromat in Manhattan. So one day he takes a helicopter into the city, and the next day he walks around with his suitcase looking for a laundromat, and then for $7.50 does his laundry the next day. If you travel with Eduardo Perez, nothing bad can possibly happen. When we were in New York, this was so bad. I almost got on the wrong subway train going to Yankee Stadium. And if I had, I would have been lost forever. I would have missed the game. I would have been some sad little old man in Schenectady because I would have never found my way back. Eduardo and Ravi saved me. Otherwise, I would have gotten on the wrong subway train. And instead of going to the Bronx, I would have gone, to Long Island or something.
Tim, I love you, okay? But when I ask you for a tip, a veteran tip of travel after 45 years of travel, you can't say print your boarding pass. Like, you're not giving anybody any wisdom with that. Like, you've got 45 years of experience traveling. How is that the best travel tip you can give people when Chris is saluting you on, yes, 2 beds, get 2 beds so you can just throw your junk on one of them?
Dan, this is the printed boarding pass. We talked about this on our podcast the other day, and at least a dozen people responded to me saying, I have to have a printed boarding pass also. Dan, I don't need anything to travel. I'm really simple. I don't check into a hotel and say, hey, I need this, hey, I need that. I have no tips. My only tip is get to the airport early so you don't miss the flight. And I'm a member of the Admirals Club for American Airlines. That's my tip. You have to have a place to go, get something to eat, get something to drink, some place to relax, some place to go work, especially when you get to the airport as early as I do.
Does Max Muncy look like the guy who comes out of the restroom and says, whew, I wouldn't go in there if I were you?
Dan, do you know that Max Muncy, there are 2 Max Muncies playing in the major leagues right now? They have the same name. They are not related. Max Muncy is not exactly the most popular name in the world. And there are 2 guys in the major leagues named Max Muncy, the one for the Dodgers and a rookie for the A's. And they both, get this, share the same birthday. I mean, what are the chances of that happening? I say 0%.
Well, clearly not 0%. What is the stat that you would look to from the regular season for you that you would say is your favorite stat of this season? And I want to ask you the follow-up question of, you've called this the most unpredictable season you've covered in 45 years. How is that possible?
Well, I believe it is, Dan, for this reason. This season, I counted the Blue Jays out multiple times, and then they won the division. I counted the Mariners out multiple times, and then they won their division. Every team that made the playoffs in the American League this year, at one point, at least privately, I said they're not going to make the playoffs. And then 6 of them did. The lesson that we learned from 2025 is just when you think you understand the game, you realize that you don't. Because a team, you look at them and say, this team stinks. And then they win 8 games in a row. And then you say, this team is really good. And then they lose 7 games in a row. That's the unpredictable nature that I'm talking about. Is I like to think I understand what I'm watching, but I've been wrong. We've all been wrong so many times this year. It has been ridiculous with the Mets, with the Yankees, with just about every team you look at and say, I missed on them. That's why this has been such an interesting season.
Does Hunter Pence look like the pirate forced to walk the plank after a failed mutiny against his captain, Jeff Samardzija? What is your favorite stat from the regular season? Do you have a favorite? I know you've got so many of them in the bank. It's hard to ask you for just one.
All right, so I'm going to give you 2, okay? Shohei Ohtani is going to win the MVP again this year. He struck out 187 times. So he's going to have the second most strikeouts ever in an MVP season with 187. And he is the record holder at 189. So the two greatest strikeout seasons during an MVP year are both held by Shohei Ohtani, who is the best player in the National League. He's going to win the unanimous MVP again this year. He's the most remarkable player anyone has ever seen, and yet he strikes out all the time, proving again that the stuff that we see in the big leagues right now is unbelievably good. I mean, these guys have no shot against the pitching that we see today unless a guy misses location. So that's one stat, and it's just showing you what the strikeout rate is like. The other thing is we hit home runs at an outrageous rate. We have 19 three-homer games, individual three-homer games this year, 19. And it's not even the record. The record is 21 three-homer seasons. Keep in mind that Hank Aaron had one three-homer season.
Three-homer game.
One three-homer game in his career. Gary Sheffield, David Ortiz, Rafael Palmeiro had no individual three-homer games in their career. And 19 different guys had a three-homer game, and 3 of those had a 4-homer game this year. The point is, this is what we play today. You hit the ball out of the ballpark or you strike out, and there's not much in between. Now, we're getting a little closer to the game we used to play 40 years ago, where the ball's in play more, guys are stealing bases, the Brewers and the Blue Jays run all over the place and make somebody stop them. That's a good sign, but we're still in an era where the strikeout rate is ridiculous. We will have more 100 strikeout guys this year than from 1900 to 1963 combined. That's what we look at these days, and everyone seems to be okay with everybody striking out 100 times and everybody just trying to hit home runs. But I would like to see us go back to a different game, the game that we played 40 years ago.
Does Freddie Freeman look like the neighbor who always waves first and means it?
Listen, speaking of looks like, you gotta look this up, Dan. Ernie Clement is an infielder for the Blue Jays, and a really good one. Okay, he made the Gold Glove finalists as a third baseman and as a utility player. So there's a chance he could win the Gold Glove at third base and win the Gold Glove as a utility player, which I find ridiculous. But Ernie Clement looks exactly like Aaron Boone, a younger Aaron Boone, who is the manager of the Yankees. And we got a text the other day from Brett Boone, Aaron's brother, watching the game on TV while we're doing it on the radio. And he said, he looks exactly like my brother. So then we called up the picture of Ray Boone, who is, of course, Aaron's grandfather who played in the major leagues. He looks exactly like Aaron. Therefore, he looks exactly like Ernie Clement. So there the Blue Jays knocked the Yankees out of the playoffs, and their second baseman / third baseman looks exactly like the manager of the Yankees. And get this. I'm sorry to belabor this, but Ernie Clement is wearing a baseball glove in the game that he bought on eBay several months ago. He bought a glove on eBay, and now it is his game glove in the major leagues.
He had like 10 hits in the last series, didn't he?
He had 9 hits in the Yankee series. 9. He had 12 hits now in the postseason. He's a good major league player, and he's a great defender at every position. And he bought a glove on eBay, and now he has to wear a batting glove underneath his glove because, as he explained to me, there's no padding in this glove because it's so old, but it fits him perfectly. He bought a glove on eBay, and now he uses it as a potential Gold Glove infielder. Only in baseball could this happen.
Tim, what's realistic best case scenario for Scherzer tonight?
That's a good question. He had a 5.0 ERA during the regular season. And in his last 5 postseason starts, he has a 7.71 ERA. What he does have going for him is he's Max Scherzer, and he is a complete lunatic, and that is a compliment. He's Mad Max, and he's one of the great competitors we've ever seen. In fact, I was talking to Chris Bassett of the Blue Jays the other day. Chris Bassett is a pitcher and was a really good high school football player and a great high school basketball player. So he's a new teammate this year with Max Scherzer, and Scherzer finds out that Chris Bassett loves basketball and is really good. So Max, typically being Max, goes to Chris Bassett and said, I want to play one-on-one against you. And he says, and we're playing full court one-on-one. That's who Max Scherzer is. We had Ryan Zimmerman on our podcast last year, the greatest Washington national ever. And he said that he used to play pickup basketball with Max. And this is how Max would do it. Zimmerman said, we had to play by the Max rules. And I said, well, what exactly does that mean? Even though I can figure it out myself. So after like 5 buckets of the pickup game, you have to shoot free throws because you never know how good a free throw shooter you are until you shoot them when you are fatigued. And then when the pickup game is over, first team to 12, then you have to shoot free throws again because now you're really fatigued after a game. That's how Max Scherzer does everything in his life. And it's one reason why I think he's got a chance to be really good tonight, but the numbers suggest he might struggle tonight. And by the way, this will be the 6th different franchise for which he has started a postseason game. That will be the most of any pitcher in Major League history. David Wells started a game for 5 different franchises. Tonight, Max Scherzer will make it 6.
Put it on the poll, please, Juju. Does Max Scherzer look as crazy as his eyes look at Le Batard Show? Also, Tim, I want to ask you a handful of questions here. Does Jalen Brunson look like the valet driver who lost your keys? Does Brent Venables look like the small-town sheriff in a movie that ends up being corrupt after you spent the whole movie telling your wife he's obviously corrupt? Does Michael Smith look like the high school teacher who motivates his students by sitting in a chair backwards?
Is that Michael Smith, the media guy?
Yes, that's right. Yes, he does look like that. Yes, that's right. He's a substitute teacher at an inner city school, and he's trying to make everyone more comfortable. He's trying to get them fired up. That's right.
What type of school?
Does Adam Silver...
Hasn't said anything.
Adam Silver looks like the lone French fry in a bag of onion rings.
You didn't let me finish. Does Adam Silver...
He's the commissioner of the NBA. You need to leave him alone.
Does Adam Silver...
Sorry.
Does Adam Silver look like the last lonely lollipop in the jar at the doctor's office?
One of them. Adam Silver looks like a 3-wood.
Tim, I want you to put a couple of things in context for me because I couldn't believe the stat the other day. I'm sure it's now common in baseball circles, but it was new to me. Big Dumper having his first passed ball in a postseason game when he didn't have one in a regular season game makes no sense to me. I don't have any earthly idea how possible that is. So explain to me with the context of baseball that you have better than almost anybody. I know you find that stat stunning. That makes no sense with the way pitchers are throwing today.
Stunning, absolutely stunning. So he is the first catcher since Johnny Bench, the greatest catcher of all time. In 1975, Johnny Bench caught 1,002 innings and did not have a pass ball. So the Big Dumper is the first catcher since Johnny Bench in 75 to catch at least 120 games and not have a passed ball. Now, interestingly, in the series against the Tigers, Dylan Dingler, the catcher for Detroit, had caught 118 games this year without a pass ball. So 2 catchers in the same postseason series had caught at least 118 games this year and not had a pass ball. And then Cal Raleigh had a pass ball in the postseason. And Dan, your point is well made. With the violent stuff that we see today, I don't know how there aren't pass balls like 3 per game because guys are throwing so hard.
And the way that team pitches, like he's got to be the best defensive catcher there's ever been, Tim. That's probably blasphemy with Johnny Bench to you, but how can it not be given what that staff stuff is?
Right. That stuff, the stuff on that staff is so ungodly good. Wait till you see Luis Castillo throw tonight. I mean, nobody can hit him. He was so good in a playoff game 3 years ago that Manny Acta, who is a coach for the Mariners, told me after the game, after Castillo shoved for 7 innings against the Blue Jays, he said, we have to move the mound back 2 feet because it's not fair to the hitters. That's the kind of stuff Luis Castillo has. And for Cal Raleigh to catch him and all of that staff without a pass ball is just remarkable to me. Now, he's an elite defensive catcher, even though he didn't finish in the top 3 for the Gold Glove finalists this year in the American League, which I was astonished by. Johnny Bench is the greatest defensive catcher of all. He's the greatest catcher ever. He's the greatest defensive catcher ever. But Cal Raleigh is really good. And Dan, not to get too inside baseball here, but we've changed the way that catchers are supposed to catch. They're catching on 1 leg now instead of being on 2. And blocking a ball and receiving a ball is harder, I believe, than it's ever been. And he still didn't have a pass ball this year in a season in which he hit 60 home runs. It's stunning.
I was saying earlier this week, and I don't want to be prisoner of the moment about this, but I'm interested in your historical context on this. I believe that the Dodgers have the best roster ever assembled, and I believe the Dodgers have the only baseball team I've ever seen uniquely built for the playoffs because of the number of ways that they can beat you, and because Glasnow is their 4th ace, and they can get an ace performance like they've gotten against a really good Brewers team from any of their starters. Do I have anything wrong there?
I don't think you do. Now, the guy I spoke to is a little bit biased because he's a member of the Dodgers. But when I called him before I started to do the playoffs this year, I did the Reds and the Dodgers on the radio for ESPN. When I called this guy and said, tell me about your team, he said, we have the greatest roster in the history of baseball. That's what he said. And I'm not sure I believed it at the time, but the more you look at it, the Dodgers roster is ridiculously good, which, you can do that when you spend this kind of money. Their starting pitching right now is so preposterously overpowering. I don't know how anybody gets a hit off of them. Blake Snell just finished 2 straight starts in which he pitched 6 innings and allowed 1 hit or less. Okay. No pitcher's ever done that twice in their postseason careers. He did it in back-to-back starts. And then Yamamoto, who is incredibly good, came out and threw a complete game. And Tyler Glasnow, nobody can hit him when he's right. And that's just the starting pitching. The lineup is tremendous. The only issue is they have a bullpen problem, but they're going to use their excess starters, including Roki Sasaki, to do what they have to do. And yes, they are built for the postseason. They are built to win the World Series, and it's just incredible. They're playing their best baseball right now.
Does Dan Marino look like the 3rd place finisher in a David Hasselhoff lookalike contest? Does the Big Dumper look like a likable dad who started a YouTube cooking channel sharing easy crock-pot recipes you can make at home?
So Jerry DiPoto, the general manager of the Mariners, told me, a couple of weeks ago, he said, the reason everybody loves Cal Raleigh is he looks like the guy who comes over to your house to fix your air conditioner or comes over to fix your plumbing. He looks like the rest of us, but he just happens to be a great baseball player. But that's one reason that he has become a folk hero in the great Northwest is in some ways he looks like us. But he's different than us. He's different than everyone. Dan, no switch hitter had ever hit 20 homers in a season from each side of the plate until he came along. Of course, no switch hitter had ever hit 55. He hit 60. No catcher had ever hit 50. He hit 60. No Mariner had ever hit more than Ken Griffey Jr. He did that. And he looks like the air conditioner repairman.
Does Mike McDaniel look like the barista who asks if you've ever tried journaling while making your oat milk latte? The double play the other day in the Dodgers game where you had, and I can't believe I'm saying this particular sentence, a 400-foot grand slam that turned into a ground ball double play.
Yeah, Dan, that play has never happened in the history of baseball. I'm pretty certain about that. Now, Jason Stark did all of this research and, Project Score Sheet, and all these people got involved. I just cannot understand how that play could have happened. It was a 400-foot grounded into double play when the ball essentially never hit the ground. Now, this is all because Teoscar Hernandez, the runner at third, did not recognize that you have to tag up on that play. A 12-year-old knows when the ball goes up in the air and you're at third base, first thing you do is stand on third base until the ball is caught or until it hits the ground. And as soon as it hit Sal Frelick's glove in center field, now you can tag up. But he went halfway, then he went back to third base, and then by the time he got home, he was forced at the plate on an out on a ball that was hit 400 feet. And then, of course, the only person who seemed to understand what was going on was William Contreras, the catcher, who then alertly ran to third base and tagged it because a force play is still in play. Bases loaded, a ball is hit that doesn't go over the fence and is not caught. That means there is a force play at every base. I've never seen anything like that. I will never see anything like that again. I was on a flight from Toronto to Seattle I was on there with an umpire and a bunch of scouts. I asked them all, have you ever seen anything like this? And all of them said, never seen anything like it because it's never happened before. This is why we go to the games, Dan, because something might happen at a major league game that's never happened or we've never seen before, and that is the perfect example.
Does Rob Pelinka look like a courthouse sketch of Tom Brady? Does Adam Silver look like a newly opened chapstick? Yeah. It's too bad the Zoom doesn't work on his laugh. Otherwise, you wouldn't be getting that silence. Tim, thank you for everything you always help us with. It's nice seeing you, especially this time of year.
Thank you, Dan. Thank you, guys.
Again, Is This a Great Game or What is the podcast he does with his son, and also at ESPN. He's an analyst reporter for Baseball Tonight. He's a Hall of Fame baseball writer. He's been at ESPN a ton of time, and he's keeping baseball alive at ESPN. A story we did not get to earlier this week, and I'm surprised we didn't get to it because it was such a great moment of television. I don't know how you guys reacted to this, but I imagine that Kirk Herbstreit got mad at Pat McAfee.
You know he's got a dog?
I imagine that Kirk Herbstreit got mad at Pat McAfee because they're on the set talking about Bill Belichick, and Kirk Herbstreit shows only Saban and the crew that Bill Belichick is calling on his phone right now. And what Pat McAfee does is exactly what you have to do, but it's not what I would have wanted him to do only if I were Kirk Herbstreit. So watch this and tell me what you guys think of it.
Is to understand that he is completely bought into what's happening with this team and with this program. And him leaving, or the idea of him leaving.
Answer that.
I can't answer.
But answer that. He has to be watching right now. That's literally Bill Belichick calling Kirk Herbstreit. He probably has something to say.
Yeah. He probably does.
But you know, every coach needs to have the opportunity to establish his culture and also to recruit.
Nick
his
Saban went straight into, I got to do television here.
You guys could have just played the Saban clip for me. Oh, that's good stuff.
I want to play it again. They're talking about Bill Belichick. Bill Belichick calls Herb Street. Herb Street shows his phone to only Saban and Pat McAfee. They're talking about Belichick while Belichick's calling, and Pat McAfee does the good television thing there. He does something better than what Kirk Herbstreit was doing, but there's no way Kirk Herbstreit didn't talk to him about this afterward.
Is to understand that he is completely bought into what's happening with this team and with this program. And him leaving, or the idea of him leaving.
Answer that.
I can't answer.
But answer that. He has to be watching right now. That's literally Bill Belichick calling Kirk Herbstreit. He probably has something to say.
Yeah, he probably does.
But you know, every coach needs to have the opportunity to establish his culture and also to recruit his kind of player.
Oh, can we play the Saban part again?
Like, how does that go if he answers it? Like, puts him on speaker, like, oh, hey, Kirk. Oh.
I mean, that's why he's calling, right? Belichick is calling to be put on the air in that spot, which is kind of
You can't call Herbie
abnormal.
in that spot and then be like, what are you doing putting me on air? Like, you're calling him while the show's going
Well,
on.
let me ask you guys this question, because Diana Rossini went on Nick Wright's show yesterday and said of Belichick and UNC, quote, "They tell me this is the happiest they've seen Bill in years. He feels like the students are actually buying into what he's doing."
I mean, I think he's probably the happiest he's been in years because he doesn't care.
I think he's the happiest he's ever been because he's dating a very young woman.
The report from Diana Rossini, quote, "They tell me this is the happiest they've seen Bill in years. He feels like the students are actually buying into what he's doing."
Well, how did we go from, and look, I mean, there are bad reports out there all the time, but how did we go from last week where he's already looking for other jobs and the school is actively trying to figure out how to get rid of him with a small buyout, to now he's so happy and the kids are buying in?
I mean, it could be spin, but I do think he's happy. He has to be happy to still be in this relationship. It has to be well worth it for him, given all the negative publicity, given the tarnish that it's probably put around his post-coaching career. Well, he's coaching now, although very little evidence of that. I think he's very clearly happy for Bill Belichick. He's not outwardly happy.
Well, let me do this, though, when you say tarnish, because I saw Bill Simmons came to the vigorous defense of the idea that Bill Belichick's legacy will not in any way be damaged by what is happening now. And I happen to agree with the fact that when history looks back at all of this stuff, we don't remember the punctuations. But the place that I don't agree with Bill Simmons is that there's simply no circumstance under which Bill Belichick could have imagined that his present day legacy is so harmed, his present day right now, that he cannot get any of the jobs that he would want right now, that he has zero access to anything that he wants, pros or college, because of what's happened in 5 weeks. And probably the weeks before that as well. So we can say right now, while we're in it, that his legacy won't be impacted down the line, but it's being impacted right now because he cannot, with his legacy, get any job. There's not a job right now that he can get better than the one he has.
I don't think the door is closed on him in the NFL. There's always going to be an owner that is going to be drawn to all the success that he had. He's going to be given opportunities to interview for jobs if he wants to,
but that's not
because of who he is.
Yeah, but Mike, given the opportunity to interview for jobs is not something Belichick thought that would be the high point of whatever he was doing 5 years ago.
Why do you believe that, though,
You know
Mike?
how Brian Billick was like, I'm here, I still want to coach, I have a Super Bowl, and no one thinks of me. I don't think that that's going to happen to Bill Belichick despite the circus around him. And I do think that you look at these NFL franchises, an owner's going to think that the smart thing to do is go to a proven winner. I mean, I told you. He had an opportunity, if he really wanted the Atlanta job, to go for it. Like, he had it. There were things about Atlanta that he didn't want to do in Atlanta.
Yeah, but it's worse now than it was when he was interviewing for those jobs.
I agree, but
Well, jobs. Am I not remembering him interviewing for more than the Falcons?
I happen to know that when the Cowboys thing became available, he stopped talking to staffers over there. I don't doubt that silence.
Oh my God, he knows.
He happens to know.
Come, everyone. Come and listen.
Happens to know.
He happens to know. Well informed.
He's got his eyes on what's happening with the New York Giants too. People that have been around North Carolina.
Well, you think he would follow Parcells? Like, I don't know that. I mean, follow Parcells, but like Parcells did what he did there. I don't know, man.
He often tells people, I'm just so many wins away from the NFL all-time wins record. It's important to him, and I think he'll try to make it happen.
Folks, listen up. With DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL, every touchdown could bring you closer to cashing in. New customers bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll score $300 in bonus bets instantly. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Use code Dan. That's code Dan to turn $5 into $300 in bonus bets if your bet wins. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours.
Check out her weekly Notre Dame podcast, The Echoes, with Mike Golick.
Echoes.
Jr. This is not an echo chamber. And you will hear her as well on Zaslow's Show 2.0 because she's going to be showing around Zaslow, the Notre Dame campus. This is her new thing at Meadowlark Media, to just show our employees around Notre Dame. She did it with Lucy. What tips do you have for Zaslow before you guys head to Notre Dame here this weekend?
Well, apparently there's like a lot of media coming to this little USC Notre Dame game. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of this rivalry, but it's been around for 100 years. And apparently the weather's going to be a little sloppy on Saturdays, as you will likely have a bit of a wet tour around campus, but I do recommend walking around the quads and just letting it all soak in, like me and Lucy did a couple weeks ago.
What's the deal around Touchdown Jesus? Like I was in Europe this past week, and I go to see the Mona Lisa. There's a huge crowd of people around it. Like, if I go to Touchdown Jesus.
You were unimpressed by the Mona Lisa.
Very small, all right? Very small. Is Touchdown Jesus all it's cracked up to be?
The difference between the Mona Lisa and Touchdown Jesus is about 5,000 square feet. So there's not much of a crowd around it because you can see it from farther away. Whereas when you're at the Louvre and you're in that little Mona Lisa room, Zaz, you know this. You got to go all the way up. You're like, where is it? I can't see. There's too many people in front of me. And then you see it and you're like, oh, there it is. And it's, it's like a little guy. So it's quite different, I would say.
All right, so I'll be able to go right up to that to Homeboy Touchdown Jesus and,
if you get too close, you won't be able to see it. Because then you'll be like craning your neck up.
Okay.
Are you excited about this, Zaslow? Are you excited about going to South Bend for the first time?
Yeah, I went last year too. I didn't get to see everything on campus, but I went last year too. I think South Bend's got some cool places to hang out. I'm not doing a show tomorrow night actually, so I get to actually. I'm going to booze it up. So I'm pretty excited about tomorrow night actually before the show.
Jessica, can you explain to Zaslow what he's in for? Like, do you believe it to be a unique experience among all college football experiences?
I would say yes and no. Like it's a lot like a lot of other really beautiful college campuses. It's unique in how small it is. I think a lot of people are surprised by that. And some of the landmarks on campus are pretty unique, but no, I think it's going to be a great college football atmosphere. And I do think, Zaz, you're in for a bit of a hostile environment because as of the recording of this, there's still no announcement on if this rivalry will continue past this game. So we are kind of operating under the assumption that this may be the last Notre Dame USC game ever. And I think the fans are very upset about that right now.
What is the back and forth like? Like tailgating all day because it's a night game. USC fans, Notre Dame fans, like will they be nasty with each other?
I don't think they'll be nasty. Maybe some. Obviously, there's always like outlier crazy people, but I've never been at a Notre Dame tailgate where people were nasty to anyone. And like that goes for most college football games. I feel like most home crowds, I think, are pretty welcoming of visitors. And like, a lot of Notre Dame people have LA friends and vice versa. So I don't think it's going to be like people are going to be like fist fighting each other in the parking lot. But I do think it's going to be a little rowdy, probably a little rowdier than the Boise State crowd that Lucy and I were in town for, which was like a warm October day, a little lazy vibe out there. I think this is going to be a lot more charged.
And Jess, this is a massive game for Notre Dame. This is probably the last. We'll see what kind of twists and turns the season takes, but this is on your schedule. The real last chance to impress a committee, and if you run the table, you should make the CFP. Do you feel the same way?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Pitt all of a sudden is playing a lot better with their new quarterback. So Notre Dame travels to Pittsburgh next month. Maybe they could be ranked. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, this is certainly would be a great boost on the Notre Dame resume because, like you said, they play Boston College, who I believe, Mike, check me on this. I think UConn is a favorite against Boston College this weekend.
Couldn't believe that.
Boston College on like a multi-game skid. They have just been really bad the last few weeks. So Notre Dame goes to Boston College. They play Navy and Syracuse without Steve Angeli. So Stanford to end the season. So yeah, there's not a ton of opportunities for ranked wins in there, which is why they probably should have beaten Texas A&M at home. You probably shouldn't have lost by 1 point, and you probably should have stopped them on 4th and 11. But if they do win this game against USC, I think that would be a huge help.
I'm sorry, Dan. Is this a 1 year where not being in a conference really hurts you? Because that's the conference championship would certainly solidify that. I don't know if you're nervous at all about not making the CFP because you don't have one, but I've heard a lot of experts weigh in like this is the one time where their independence may haunt them a little bit.
I don't think any Notre Dame fan, if Notre Dame goes like say 9-3 and is on the playoff bubble and misses it, I don't think any Notre Dame fan alive would be like, man, I wish we were in the Big Ten this season. So no, I think they should have just beaten Texas A&M at home, honestly. And they should beat USC at home if they want to make the playoff. Like, win the games. That's really what it comes down to.
I don't know that there's ever been a video that I can play for Jessica that is more in her wheelhouse than that Pope video from earlier in the show. Let's play that for Jessica because this is genuinely and generally shocking to see a Pope. This is not a Pope in costume. This is a Pope who's a White Sox fan being trolled by a Cubs fan in Vatican City.
So sad. Dan, how could he do this to me? People keep saying, oh man, Chicago Pope, you must feel so happy, so represented. No, he's a White Sox fan. He's laughing at me right now. The Pope is laughing at me, Dan, and I deserve it. I deserve it for being a Cubs fan. And this is what I've said my whole life. God doesn't love the Cubs. It's obvious. 2016 was a fluke, and it sent the whole universe into some sort of dark black hole tailspin that we still haven't fought our way out of. God does not love the Chicago Cubs, Dan, and neither does the Pope.
Put it on the poll, please. Was the Pope trash talking? Because that's as close as a Pope's ever going to come to trash talking, is it not?
I love that he responded in Spanish first, too, and then translated it into English. That was solid Pope work by him.
I have a number of different college football controversies to get to. So which do you want? Handshake gate, tortilla gate, or Trent Dilfer being fired by UAB? Which one would you like first?
Well, I'm shocked you guys haven't covered the Trent Dilfer news because it was the big college football head coaching news of the weekend. He was let go by UAB. But no, let's talk about the tortillas first, Dan, because this is one of those silly college football things that it started off a little silly, then it got real, and then it got real. Now there's fines involved, and now Kansas's head coach kind of looks like a liar.
A liar?
The lie detector test determined that was a lie.
I'll start from the top. I don't know where that came from, but first of all, okay. So, Dan, you know of the Texas Tech tortilla throwing tradition?
I do. It was up for Hampton Farms Nuttiest Fan of the Week a couple of weeks ago.
Love those peanuts. Anyway, so this past weekend, huge game between Texas Tech and Kansas, and the fans were throwing tortillas, of course. And over the summer, the Big 12 said if you throw tortillas, you'll get a warning, and then eventually you'll get 15-yard penalties because you can't throw stuff on the field, which, makes a lot of sense. Even though tortilla is very soft, they don't hurt. They're not hurting anyone, but it is a pain in the ass to clean up, and you shouldn't throw stuff on the field regardless. Anyway, so the Texas Tech fans were throwing the tortillas. Texas Tech was getting fined. And Lance Leopold, the Kansas head coach, was not happy after the game, and there was a very awkward handshake between him and Joey McGuire, the Texas Tech head coach. And you can hear the audio on it. I'm not sure if we have the video, Dan. If we do, we'll play it. But you can hear the audio. Hear some expletives were said during this very tense handshake.
Yeah, I know. That's Coach, I can't do anything about it. You want me to do something about it? I know. And I said I got it.
What's he supposed to do about it?
That's what he said.
Well, so after this game, so Texas Tech won big, but I will add one of the penalties was when the game was still pretty close. So both coaches were, I think, exasperated by the fact that the tortillas kept coming even after the first 15-yard penalty. Afterwards, Leopold said that someone threw a pocket knife at one of his players on the field. So not only were the fans throwing tortillas, someone threw a pocket knife. He said this in his post-game press conference, and then Joey McGuire did his post-game press conference and said that he needs the fans to like chill out a little bit, which is really all he can do, right? Is like tell the fans like, please stop, you're hurting our football team. We're actually really good this year. You're going to blow this for us. So subsequently, Dan, the Texas Tech apparently submitted footage to the Big 12 Conference showing that they think a Kansas staffer dropped the pocket knife on the sideline. I have watched the video several times. I can't tell what the hell's going on in this video, but apparently it shows this Kansas staffer dropping a pocket knife on the Kansas sideline. So I don't know.
To make it look, to plant that there was
planting evidence.
Allegedly, I mean, I don't know the intent. I don't know the intent. Both teams did get fined. So Texas Tech was fined for the tortilla throwing $25,000, and Kansas was fined for Lance Leopold's comments about the Big 12, which he said like the officials didn't handle it well, and the league hasn't handled the tortilla thing well. So they got fined, and now there's this further speculation on what the hell happened with this pocket knife that as of the recording of this, Dan, I don't know. I don't know where the pocket knife came from.
Well, but if you say thrown pocket knife, I think most of us assume after our knife throwing adventures a week ago that most people are assuming that the pocket knife is being thrown with the blade out. You're suggesting that it's just a pocket knife that's falling out of somebody's pocket that might not even have the blade out.
Well, so when Leopold said this in the post-game press conference, it was implied that it was like aggressively thrown onto the field by fans and like hit a player. And now it seems like it was potentially just fell out of someone's pocket or dropped out of someone's pocket. So I've watched the video, and the videos are like, you can clearly see here that this guy did this, and I can't see, Dan. So you want to watch the video and tell me, but it's very bad look for Kansas, because this is why you wait until your Monday press conference to be really like emotional and call people out, because then maybe you take a step and then you're like, okay, I probably should not say what I was going to say Saturday night.
When you talk about bad looks, how do we feel about the blue-collar jacket look in Michigan here? How do we feel about going to the press conference with a jacket that has your name over your heart and you're giving off a whole lot of blue-collar?
Collar jacket on today. We got to go back to work right now. There's no pouting. There's no worrying about it. There's no making excuses for it. That's all we got to do, and that's all I know, and that's what we're going to do right now.
Now, Jess, this has led to spectacular photoshopping from college football social media and corresponding captions. This is a bit ridiculous.
Can I say something controversial?
Yes, of course.
I like the jacket. I think it's kind of cute. So, I mean, everyone wants to clown Sharon Moore. It's a cute jacket. I like it. And I get what he's going for. Go back to work. You lost to USC on the road. But, I mean, maybe he's just flexing on everyone because he's like, look, I got a jacket with my name on. I would wear that. If it said Jessica on it, I would wear that.
But this is where artificial intelligence can be used for good, because you get all sorts of photoshops, like him wearing a chef's outfit with the caption, "That's why I'm wearing Chef White," to remind the team and fans just to keep calm and let me cook. Or one as him as an astronaut, which is accompanied by, as a program, we have to take small steps before we can make giant leaps.
Nice. Dan, can I give you 3 guesses on who UAB's interim head coach is right now?
Sure. Watson Brown.
No. I'll give you a hint. His father was also an ESPN employee.
I saw it. It'll be fun if you get it.
Do we know if Billy's okay? Do we know there was a pocket knife thrown in the back room, and I don't think Billy's okay,
Yeah,
and
I don't know.
don't want to kill him.
I also
before
feel
he
like
leaves.
I am like attending someone else's funeral right now, and it's kind of like a weird vibe. But we already recorded our last mystery crate, so it's not like I haven't addressed this with Billy already on air.
I thought Billy was your favorite among everyone here. I thought Billy and you had the greatest chemistry on and off air. You can say whatever you like here for those not listening to Mystery Crate about Billy's final couple of days.
I think people
Jess
should
and I
listen
had
to
good
Mystery
chemistry.
Crate. Yeah.
That was.
I thought that you thought that Jeremy was my favorite. Also.
Yeah, I also thought that you
But
thought
he's
that,
not.
and definitely didn't think that myself.
Which isn't
of
true.
our friendship.
Just kidding. Okay, give me another guess. Former former ESPN employee, son played college football, was an analyst at Alabama for a long time, was on the UAB staff.
I'm hardly listening to your hints, and I didn't want to play this game when we started.
Thank you.
And
It's a fun
so,
game.
And
It's a fun
so
game.
you can
Good
go
guess
ahead and
answer.
just
Billy
tell
loves
me.
the guessing game.
You're
Billy,
gonna-
you guess. You
Well,
love the guessing game.
I mean, it's Mort's son.
Mortonson.
Oh, Chris Mortenson's son is the UAB head
works hard.
coach. Trent Dilfer was terrible. Like, how long did he last? A year and a half? 2 years? How long did he last?
He was awful, but at least he was a super nice guy the entire time.
Definitely not, yelling at kids at all.
I think we should just keep doing that. Keep giving jobs to people who haven't done anything to earn those jobs. Just put them right at the top. We should do that with Pujols, too. The Orioles and the Angels are fighting over Pujols. Just keep giving people jobs when they haven't done anything in the way of training for jobs. What is that, Mike? The AI thing is a complicated one because I see that Robin Williams' family, MLK's family, they're desperately asking everyone to stop putting their beloved family members in AI videos.
Yeah, and I'm doing my part by liking every MLK wrestling video.
The
I
MLK
see.
is amazing.
You know, it makes sense he would be a great wrestler because
Oh
he's
my
such a great
God,
orator.
I love it.
Oh my God.
Big
Yeah,
heel turn, unexpected, Dan, by MLK.
Yeah.
Really?
He
Heel
is the
turn.
dream.
Heel turn.
He
Big heel
is the dream. I saw a Boiler Room set from George Washington the other day. That was cool. Yeah, we're in a dangerous place, and this is all going to be used for bad. But for the moment, let's enjoy some of the fun stuff.
Speaking of a dangerous place, Jessica, James Franklin just changed all the rules on how much time and how much winning coaches have to do, right?
Sorry, I was hardly listening to you. Trent Dilfer's record was 9-21, Dan, at UAB, and he also, like Mike said, made a lot of jerky comments, like when he had his grandson join him in a press conference and then was like, "What? It's not like it's Alabama." Which is something you probably shouldn't say if you coach at UAB. But yeah, the James Franklin thing is shocking. I was less shocked when I found out his buyout's not like a $50 million lump sum payment, which some of them are. So they're going to be able to pay it out over a few years. And like there's been a lot of conversation about this like duty to mitigate clause in his buyout, which means that if he gets another job, the money will offset. But that's pretty standard among college coaching contracts. Mike, I don't know if Mario's got one of those. You probably know more contract details than us lay people, but it's going to be interesting what the appetite is for hiring him at another coaching job too, because he's also someone that I think like a lot of fans of non-Penn State teams, maybe even including Penn State the last couple of weeks, like they've been clowning him for a long time for his reputation of not being able to win a big game. Now, I have seen a number of Wisconsin fans say, we don't even care who it is, just get Luke Fickell out of here. And this may in fact be Luke Fickell's last game coaching Wisconsin because they have had a terrible season. He has not been fired yet, and they play Ohio State on Saturday. I'm not sure what the spread is there, but I imagine it's like 5 touchdowns. So I'm curious to see if he does get another head coaching job or if he does broadcasting or what. But I think the buyout number, we'll just kind of have to wait and see what that ends up being.
I think it's interesting what you're saying there about fans around college football for years clowning him, and now this idea that maybe he'll take a media job. That's weird to me because I feel like people...
Jeremy's got some interesting facts about this. Like, his buyout is super strange.
Yeah, Front Office Sports reported that when he signed the extension with Penn State, that he not only has to look for another job, he has to seek out the highest possible payment for said job within his skill set so that
Martin
Penn State
also.
can get the difference. What I think, personally, we should hire him.
Yes. He's incentivized to take this.
Yeah, but yes, like the language says like diligently search for new employment in good faith, and it has to be market rate. So I guess, yeah, whatever you're paying Billy. So that'll offset the buyout by about, let's say, $200,000 over 10 years. I'm not sure. So
I saw a thing, estimate. And I'm wondering if you knew that James Franklin, like, not only if he gets another job, he has to find another job. Yes. And if he doesn't, he has to look for another job.
Wait, Billy, I didn't hear that. Tell me more.
Well, it turns out it's not just he could take the money. He has to find a job.
The highest paying job.
And it has to be the most money possible from said job at that role. Could be
Dan,
media or coaching, I believe.
That's very interesting, Billy. Sam Pittman, who was fired a couple weeks ago, had this duty to mitigate clause in his contract. And he was like, actually, I'll take less money if we strike that because I want to retire. And they were like, sure. So they renegotiated it. So now he does not have to look for new employment because he's like, I'm done.
That's amazing.
Respect.
It would be funny if Billy weren't here Monday, but in that chair, James Franklin was. My other idea was Udonis Haslem replacing Billy in terms of just visually
Same
funny.
vibe.
This is rough for Michael Key. What's he going to do now?
True. Yeah, I mean, he's really the big loser in all of this, if you think about it.
Can you tell me, Jessica, a team that you think not enough people are talking about as good? I've got two in Texas Tech and South Florida. I think both of those teams are actually playoff good, and not enough people are talking about the fact that I think they're playoff good. Do you have anyone in the landscape where you're like, man, I really like what that team is doing, but I don't think anyone is paying real attention to that team?
Oh, that's a great question. Yes, I have so many, but I feel like South Florida game, I don't know if you guys watched it last weekend. That was incredible. The North Texas South Florida.
Mike they score very easily.
It was crazy. It ended up being like how many points did they score in the span of like 3 minutes?
Something. Yeah, well,
it was absurd. Let me think about that for a second. So, I mean, I don't think BYU is like awesome, but they are undefeated right now, which I think a lot of people would be surprised to find out. But this weekend, Holy War, BYU and Utah, and Utah is also ranked, even though they lost by a lot to Texas Tech. So I think that's going to be a fun game. Honestly, there's just so many Big 12 teams right now with like 1 or 2 losses that they just keep beating up on each other, which is like totally expected. But like, yeah, Cincinnati's quarterback's been really good. There's another Big 12 game this weekend, TCU and Baylor, where I don't think either team's like great. So this doesn't really answer your question. But right now the total's like 65.5, and both quarterbacks are like top 10 in like adjusted yards per dropback. I want to say like they're just like slinging it a lot. So that could be like an old school Big 12 game this weekend. That would be fun. And then I think like if you're Dykes or Aranda, it's like, like you might be in a little bit of a warmer seat situation after that one. But yeah, to answer your question, Dan, like this is sort of like, I feel like October around like this time of year, once a lot of teams are done with their bye weeks, this is like moving weekend where like you get into like the meat of the conference schedules. Like Washington and Michigan could be a really good game. Like those are two teams, like Michigan's obviously got 2 losses, but they've only got 1 loss in conference right now. Washington has the loss to Ohio State, which was tough, but they hung in there for a few quarters. But that's a game where like we'll know a lot about whichever team loses that. And like we'll start stacking some of these like conference losses too, which tells you kind of where more teams are. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, there's just so many good games this weekend. I don't even know where to begin.
I like Maryland too, but Maryland coughed up that game against
September,
Washington.
Maryland.
And I do think that, Mike, you like Washington against Oregon, right?
Yeah, I like Washington. I'm looking at that Penn State-Oregon result. And I know Cignetti just had his signature victory. I am not trying to take anything away from that. It's a difficult place to play. The record proves that. But I don't think Oregon is as good. And I look at a road trip to Iowa as a trouble spot for Oregon. Like I said, I locked in Oregon to not make the playoffs. And I think a team that's going to creep back in there because of the conference that they play in. And we saw 1 win in the SEC is a get-right in the eyes of many. Texas is going to creep back into this conversation, I think.
Are you willing to do this publicly, though?
Put the town on alert.
Yeah, I'll be on Iowa and I'll be on Washington when Oregon plays both those teams.
Iowa came very close to beating Indiana. Like
Iowa's another team that I kind of like.
We would not be talking about Cignetti. Like they were a play away from beating Indiana. We would not be talking about Iowa and Cignetti this way if they had lost to Iowa.
I'll do you one more. We wouldn't be talking about it if that game wasn't on Peacock, because I feel like not a lot of people watched it because it was on Peacock and you can't put it in your quad box.
I'm wandering around listening to it on satellite radio because that's my new thing on Saturdays, just listening to local Iowa broadcasts talk about disposable furniture.
Not to put your business out there, but you also listen to a lot of Pitbull Globalization. I got a picture like once a week from you listening to Pitbull on Sirius as you're driving around, which is awesome.
Thank you, Jessica. Good talking to you. We'll talk to you next week, and I'll do a better job if you want to ask me any questions. Quiz me on UAB football again. I'll do a better job of listening next time.
We can talk about the Skims fake bush thongs next week, too.
Check her out.
I saw that.
Those are crazy.
What's with those vagina hairs?
Check her out on
Hey, Maxwell.
That's Maxwell Frost at your Zoom.
Mystery Crate.
Oh, my God.
You're really bringing in Congressman Maxwell Frost?
No,
that
I'm
way?
Just talking some pubes, Max.
He just happened to pop in the Zoom right when Mike said
P's and
that.
Q's and
Thank you,
P's.
Jessica. We'll gather ourselves here and welcome in the congressman more appropriately than with pubic talk in a second.
No, I'm glad he stayed there.
I mean, politics, pubic talk might not be that much different, you know?
Yeah.
We like to talk to Congressman Maxwell Frost. We're getting, as you can tell, a little more and more comfortable with him in ways that are inappropriate. He is from Florida's 10th District. He represents the people of his hometown in Orlando and Central Florida. And he's been giving us fairly honest and factual information at a time it's hard to get honest and factual information. So thank you for joining us again, Congressman. What can you tell us about the government shutdown that is most problematic, and where is all of this headed?
Yeah, well, thanks for having me on, man. And yeah, so essentially, people who don't know, the federal government is currently shut down. What does that mean? It means Congress has not done its damn job to make sure that there's funding allocated for the government. And when that doesn't happen, the government essentially shuts down. A lot of people get furloughed, which means people are told, don't come to work, you're not going to get paid. There's a lot of people who are told you have to come to work or else you're going to get fired. And by the way, you're also not going to get paid. But when the government opens, you'll receive your paycheck then. So that's a lot of our TSA workers, people working at the Social Security Administration, my staff, you know, a lot of just different people who work in the federal government. And the whole reason we're in this situation is, number one, we've been talking about this for months. We know the date is coming up. Like, it's not like this comes out of nowhere. People in Congress know that in X amount of months, the government will shut down. But what always happens is they wait till the last minute to do anything about it. And that's what Speaker Mike Johnson did. Waited till the last minute. We got a bill, maybe literally just like a day or two in advance, that kept out something very important. For people who don't know, at the end of this year, the Affordable Care Act tax subsidies are going to expire. What does that mean? It means that, especially in Florida and across the country, people's health care is going to go up anywhere from 50 to 300%. So it is our job to handle that in this funding bill. They don't want to do that. And so they rather let the government shut down than actually handle healthcare. Why would anyone want people to pay more for healthcare? They're trying to make more room in the federal budget to give a tax break to billionaires and mega corporations. I mean, it's like the same tired story of the rich getting richer and the poor getting poor. And that's exactly what's going on right now.
What are the details that you find most problematic about how this affects people who can't actually afford it financially?
It's the fact that Donald Trump said in this meeting, well, let's handle it at the end of the year. Here's the problem. Open enrollment for healthcare on the Affordable Care Act, which the biggest marketplace is Florida, right? The most people in the country on the Affordable Care Act are in Florida. I have 200,000 people in my district alone in Central Florida that if we don't do anything, we'll get a letter. And many of them have already gotten a letter that says, hey, next year, your healthcare is going to go up anywhere from 50 to 300%. The average we're seeing is about double. And we got to think about that. Maybe for a billionaire, that's not a big deal. But for a working class person, you get that letter, you're going to start making decisions now based on what you have to pay to keep your family healthy next year. That means we've gotten reports from people locally. We did a survey and asked people, tell us what decisions you're making now. Here's some of the decisions. We're going to have to cut our grocery bill in half. We're thinking about moving out of our current rental unit because we're paying too much for rent. We need to put aside some of that money for healthcare next year. Other ones, which is like, I haven't seen my parents in years and years and years, and I'm canceling the trip because I can't afford it because I'm going to pay double for my healthcare next year. So like, this is real. This isn't some abstract BS that politicians are using for talking points. Like, this is going to impact real people. And the disturbing part about it is we can do something about it right now. Like Congress is the only job in the world where you can say, you know what, I'm gonna clock in at the end of the year. Like Mike Johnson literally came out and said the House of Representatives is not going back into session until the government opens. But we're the ones that have to open the government. I mean, like it makes no sense to me. And this is part of the reason I understand why most of the country hates Congress is because of this kind of thing going on. And it's really simple. The speaker needs to call us back to session. We need to actually fix the healthcare problem, pass the funding bill, open up the government, and move on. But Dan, there's also one other part of this that some people don't know about. And it's that in Arizona, there was a Democrat elected in a special election. She was elected like 23 days ago. When Mike Johnson brings back the House, he has to swear her in to be an actual representative. He has a problem with that because she said that the first thing she's going to do is be the last signature on the petition to release the Epstein files. And unfortunately, that's a big part of this, is that he doesn't want that petition to have the last signature on it.
How big a part of the Epstein files is everything that's happening with Trump's behavior beyond just trying to distract us with other nonsense that includes just bombing random boats?
I think it has a lot to do with it. And here's the thing. Number one, we know from reports that Trump is in the Epstein files. To what degree, what did he do, this and that? We don't know, but we want to see. And that's what the reason we want to have it. But I promise you that a lot of his friends are implicated too in this as well. And that's why he's telling his own supporters, who a lot of people who supported Trump said, you know, I'm doing this in part because he said one of the top things he's going to focus on is the Epstein case, which for people who don't know, I'm on the Epstein investigation right now. Before this year, it's not something I knew a ton about. Now I've spent hours and hours with survivors, with lawyers. I was in the Alex Acosta deposition, and I can tell you this is something that does need to be uncovered, of course, for the victims and survivors, but also this is like a cover-up of epic proportions that implicates Republicans. And yes, it implicates Democrats too. And for people who tell me, Maxwell, there might be Democrats implicated, I don't give a if you're implicated in it, you need to be held accountable. I don't care who you are. And we're in this issue now where Trump, on one hand, is gaslighting his own supporters, saying the Epstein thing is nothing. It's a Democrat hoax. It's not a hoax. This is real. Like, and this, and being from Florida, a lot of this happened in our state with a lot of our government officials either looking the other way or empowering this pedophile, rapist, human trafficker. And so we need justice on this. And it's the same story of rich elite people playing by a different set of rules. And again, I don't care if you have an R or D next to your name, you need to be held accountable.
So Donald Trump was positioned effectively as a populist candidate, but the policy is not good for most Americans, which is why, them knowing this, you have the Voting Rights Act presently being heard by the Supreme Court. There will be an attempt to gerrymander and rig things that way. You have Dominion voting being purchased by a Republican ally. What are the countermeasures to this? Because they have a fair amount of power, and they don't really seem to have a lot of respect for court orders or court rulings. They'll just keep appealing and find an ally there. What can the Dems do without the House, without the Senate, without the presidential power, without even the Supreme Court? What can they do to counter this?
I've spent, before I was elected in Congress, I was an activist and organizer fighting in the grassroots. So I'm used to not having all the power I want. And so when you don't have all the power you want, you use all the power that you got. And the fact of the matter is there's a few things here. Number one, the court rulings are still important because we've still gotten a lot of wins. A lot of people don't realize this, but throughout history, fascists and authoritarians, part of the way they exert power is by making people believe that they have power that they actually don't have. And it's about blatantly lying about things. 45% of all of Trump's executive orders or actions have been stopped, reversed, or paused by courts. And they've actually been stopped, reversed, or paused. Now, there's still another 55% to worry about. I'm not saying that's the end all be all, but it is something that we should be doing. And what we do need is courage from our politicians to put themselves on the line for the greater good. And I'm going to give you an example. Alligator Alcatraz. We spoke about this last time I was on. Not just myself, but myself and other elected officials said, you know what? We have privilege as electeds. Let's demand that we be let into this facility, but not just to go in for like a photo op and to talk about it on the news. Let's go and talk with the plaintiffs that are suing them and figure out, what do you need to know about this facility? So we did that. I walked in with a binder this big. I've been inside that facility twice and was able to fill that binder with very specific answers to questions they had, which informed the lawsuit. And it's going to go back and forth. Unfortunately, there's starting to be more people in Alligator Alcatraz, but it was shut down for a while. And the judge in her decision actually quoted my declaration after I left the place saying, this is what Congressman Maxwell Frost found in his findings in there. I bring this up to say that oversight and seeing ourselves as people who can put ourselves in situations that other citizens can't go in, I think is really important. The other thing is people power. Power on the streets. There's a No Kings protest this on the 18th. A lot of people come up to me and say, Maxwell, what's the purpose of a protest? The purpose of a protest is it is oftentimes the entry point for people to get involved in political advocacy. We know that one protest in and of itself doesn't solve all the problems, but what it does do is it shows an authoritarian that you don't have the people on your side. And it gives the organizers on the ground an opportunity to see a bunch of people they've never seen before and get them involved in the day-to-day things that are going on. People ask me all the time, Maxwell, what can I do? And I always tell them, get involved in a local group that will answer that question for you every day. Because I can give you some abstract things that are really important and some tactics, but there's people in your community right now who are doing this work who, quite frankly, have been asking for your help for a long time. The good thing is it's not too late. Get involved, and protests allow us to do that as well.
Beyond the healthcare crisis and what you were telling us earlier, what do you see as the greatest life and death dangers involved with the government shutdown?
Honestly, I'm thinking a lot about our federal workers. And I did a roundtable last week with a bunch of them from the TSA, from Social Security Administration. People got to realize that starting a few days ago, they're not receiving any pay. So if this government shutdown goes for another 3 months, that means that these people will not get a paycheck for 3 months, but they're still expected to go to work. And who are these people? They're the people making sure that we're safe when we fly on a plane, that there aren't weapons or even worse, getting put on a plane when we're on there. These are the people sending Social Security checks to our seniors and to people in our community that are not getting paid anymore. And I didn't realize this until I sat in the meeting that in this meeting, 90% of the people there, both of the spouses, both, the mother and the father were both federal workers. So that means you got zero money coming in. And these are civil servants who Donald Trump and Elon Musk have been alienating, have been literally in Project 2025. It says that their goal is to traumatize federal workers. These are civil servants. These are working class people who are not getting rich off of working for the government. They're there because they believe in a mission and they're not getting paid right now. And their voices in the mix of all this political BS, their voices are going to be buried, but I'm committed to making sure people understand what's going on. So if you can, you're going to see a lot more food drives. You're going to see a lot more support groups locally rise up to help get them gas cards and feed people and stuff like that. I'm going to be organizing that in Orlando as well. Get involved if you're listening to this because we got to support them.
The ICE raids are horrific. Yesterday, Los Angeles County declared a state of emergency over immigration raids. Can you tell me, please, where we are with something that feels less American than most of the things that I've experienced in my life in America?
It's a lot of things. And one thing I want to bring up about the military occupying our cities, being unleashed on U.S. citizens, on Americans, masked ICE agents going and kidnap. And I try to be very blunt about this, not to exaggerate, but this isn't even mass deportation. Deportation is a legal process you go through. They're not even following that. They're kidnapping people in our communities and literally human trafficking them to other places. But the thing is that I always encourage people, follow the money. A lot of these issues at the end of the day have to do with enriching a few people, a few friends of the president. And actually, this is no different because what's going on is the big ugly bill was passed a few months ago. And that gives ICE the most amount of money they've ever had. They have more money than the United States Marines. Where do you think that money is going to? Because I actually go to my local jail every month and I do a roundtable with people being held by ICE. And when you talk to them about who's transporting you, who are the people you talk with, a lot of times it's not even ICE. It's a third-party company that's being paid millions of taxpayer dollars to do this kidnapping operation. And what they're doing is greatly expanding the prison industrial complex, where we have all these private prisons that are making hella money, tons of money, millions of taxpayer dollars on locking up people who, most of whom have never broken the law before, and law-abiding immigrants or people who are undocumented. And so that's something that we're investigating on the oversight committee, and people have to pay attention to it. This agency is not rogue. What do I mean by that? ICE was created to go into communities to find people. So if you disagree with that, then you disagree with ICE.
I have no time left, so let's keep this lighter and quick.
All right.
We need to get one bet from the congressman. Billy, bet the house. Give it to me as short as you can, please. Bet the house.
It's time to bet the House of Representatives. This week's guest is a cadet major in the Civil Air Patrol. At 25, he became the youngest member of Congress and first Gen Z'er to serve. He represents Florida's 10th district in the U.S. House of Representatives. It's Maxwell Frost. You got a showdown in the Mountain West with Wyoming Cowboys gallop to Colorado Springs to take on the Air Force Falcons. Representative Frost, who you got?
Thank you for keeping it short, Billy.
Air Force. Air Force, Air Force, Air Force. Air Force! Go Air Force.
All right. Thank you, Congressman. I appreciate the time. We appreciate the time, and we appreciate the work.
Thank you. Appreciate you guys.
Thank you, Billy, for keeping that short the way that I knew that you would. We've got Pitch Clock coming up here. We've also got some Juju Gotti coming up here, but we've got to do Thursday Thunder here, and we've got to do it quickly, and we've got to win this week. It's time to start winning people some money. Let's win people some money. Juju is, I still don't think that in all the time that Juju has been doing this, maybe I'm wrong, if he has ever gotten 0 right, I don't think. 1 right is very rare. But 2 right out of 3, that's his wheelhouse. So just selectively, if you don't want to bet them together, bet them individually. But together is the big payout. Give us the Thursday Thunder this week, Juju.
Yes, sir. Since I'm so successful at those 2 out of 3s, this week I'm going with a 4-piece, baby. First of all, I'm going with T. Higgins for over 5 reception yards in the first quarter. First quarter, T. Higgins, lock it in. Secondly, I'm sticking with T. Higgins, and I'm going with him for over 3 catches tonight. Scooby Snacks. Joe Flacco in the building. Unc, I see you. Next leg, I'm going with my brother, Noah Fant. You know, Mike Gesicki, he's out. He's on the IR. And that tight end, Drew Sample, isn't the same as tossing the pill to Noah Fant. Over 3.5 catches tonight for my brother. And lastly, but not leastly, Jamar Chase for over 6 catches from Joe Flacco tonight. Lock it in.
Excellent job, Juju. Juju, I got to ask you, have you seen Paul Pierce's recent comments on Club Shay Shay? Have you seen what he said about LeBron?
Yes, sir. And I wanted to understand or know what you guys feel about it. Mike for sure, but you as well, Zaz.
What do you say?
This was
hey, that's my
Paul
gimmick.
Pierce's quote.
Yeah, so I mean, just to shorten it for everyone listening who doesn't know, he went on Club Shay Shay and he said that if he were younger, all of those years that LeBron was sunning him with the Miami Heat, if he were younger, LeBron would have no rings.
It made no sense.
0.
It made no sense because he had a lot of his career without LeBron to even worry about, and he didn't do much winning there.
I mean, we could play this game forever. Like, I could then just come back and say, yeah, if Kevin McHale and Danny Ainge weren't good friends and corroborated to send Kevin Garnett to the Celtics, like, you wouldn't want shit. Like, we could do this forever.
I kind of love Paul Pierce, I think. Like, post-retirement Paul Pierce. Like, he just seems kind of crazy and like a good time.
Yeah, I believe it. Also, yeah, if Pat McAfee didn't think of having Aaron Rodgers and stuff on, I would have did that. So I feel Paul Pierce.
It's ridiculous. I guess it had been a little while since Paul Pierce said something that only he believes. So, that's...
No, he fell asleep last week, if you remember correctly.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Just in the middle of... Yeah. Yeah, I love that one. Just in the middle of traffic. Hey, you know what it's like to be stuck in traffic for 45 minutes? And no, Paul, tell me. That's never happened to anybody.
Yeah, I agree with you also, too, not to change the subject too quick, but when you said Tua is potentially becoming unlikable, and you pointed back to the show me the money. Oh, my, I forgot all about that, bro. That was the most embarrassing thing he's ever done. So I agree with his ass.
Cringe AF, right, Juju? Cringe AF.
Cringe,
not as much as you saying cringe AF.
Come on.
6-7.
There we go. Now you're back.
Juju, you got some polls for us to update? What do we got here?
Yes, sir. Also, too, Billy, I love you. Before we get to the polls, Billy, I love you so much, bro. Like, people don't understand you a great guy. Like, you hilarious on the show and you be playing your role. But, dog, when I first got to this company, I was, I'm fresh out the streets. So I don't understand a lot of what's going on. You feel me? And he helped me understand a lot of what was going on. Took the time, talked to me for hours on the phone. Like, bro, we grown folks and people don't use the phone no more. My boy Billy took a time out of his life, 2 kids, to talk to me. You feel me? So I always appreciate you. I always appreciate the time we spent together. And I love you, brother.
Thank you, Juju. Love you.
Yes, sir. Do you like it when there are 2 Monday night football games?
I'm in on this.
67% of the audience says, no, they do not.
People are just looking for things to complain about.
I don't understand. You're telling me
here in America in general.
You're telling me a Monday night football game will end, and it'll end at 10 p.m. Eastern time, also known as Lord's time zone. The game will end on Monday, and you'll be like, damn, I wish there wasn't another game on right now.
I like it when it's staggered by an hour. I don't love the 7-10 thing.
I like that better.
Like the 7 and 8:15. That's where it's at.
I like that better. Yep.
I kind of like the 7-10. It's like, give me something to stay up for. It's like basketball season. I'm used to staying up so late because LeBron and them, they don't come on till 10:1000 Eastern time. So I'm used to staying up late. I kind of like it. Neither here nor there. Who is cooler? A person who scores baseball games or a person who has sex?
Oh, big. This is big.
63% of the audience says a person who has sex.
What they don't know is that if you do the first, you do the second more than if you don't do the first.
Hello. Is Max Scherzer as crazy as his eyes look? 90% of the audience says yes, he is. And the last poll, was the Pope talking trash? 96% of the audience says yes, he was. And those are your polls.
That Pope was spitting. Thanks, Juju.
Thank y'all.